app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
So for those of you early birds out there that start the show with us at 6 a.m. every single morning, we thank you, and we apologize that you also have to wake up at obscene hours of the day. But you get a little treat this morning, John Kincade, for those of you who are tuning in right at 6 o'clock.
Whoa, what's that?
We get to do the peel behind the curtain, see how the sausage is made.
Peel back the curtain thing? I like this.
And see how the sausage is made when it comes to the show. So yesterday, after the show, we always do our little promo. You know, come up tomorrow on Kincade Salciunas. We spitball a couple of things, and things change because as the day goes on, you watch Zach Wheeler pitch incredibly, and you see Gabriel Rincones hit a home run, and there's storylines from the Phillies game that we don't know would come out yet because they hadn't played yet. Well, we told you that today we were going to talk about patience and whether or not we would be patient with the Eagles' offense.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, that will be tomorrow's show now.
Yeah, we're going to have to push that off because my old high school classmate was up to his usual in digging up another story around the Eagles that has the Eagles, I believe, on edge. I would believe that another story has gotten out about the Eagles and maybe their internal operations regarding Jalen Hurts.
So,
Joe Santoliquito.
Can I give you a little teaser for tomorrow?
Okay. We can cut the promo right now if you want to.
Connor, just roll on this and we'll post it.
On it.
I think in terms of the patience conversation, there's one man that what I'm saying is there's one man that has to show that he can play really well in this offense, and it's Jalen Hurts. And the reason being, there's always noise around him, right? Pick the day.
It's welcome to this city.
Right.
No. Say it. Welcome to this city. Because in other cities, they would look at us like we're a-holes about this. They would look at it going, what the hell are they talking about?
There's also people outside of the city that question, all right, well, how much is he the reason why they win? Is it because of the offense? Is it because of the weapons? Joe Burrow has complained that how come I can't have what the Eagles have? Now, Joe Burrow, you have two really high expensive wide receivers, so pipe down a little bit. But it's amazing, right? The story that follows Jalen Hurts, it seems like it'll always follow Jalen Hurts. And it goes back to the college, getting benched for Tua and all that kind of stuff. And then we forget that he saved the season the very next year in the SEC championship game. But there's so much to Jalen Hurts. And I thought when we were going to have this patience conversation that he was going to have to show early, not like, hey, he's throwing for 400 yards, but he's comfortable in this new offense, or there will be a lot of noise surrounding Jalen Hurts because I still believe that the number one storyline is going to be this, does he prove it year. And
I think in this city, that will be created by the people who create stupid storylines. Yes.
So you're calling my storyline stupid?
No, I'm just saying.
What you just said at 6:03 this morning.
Okay, then maybe.
Because I'm being vindicated by this story.
Well, then maybe we will fight. Yes, because I think so. I think it's this city that creates this. Yes.
So you're saying Joe Santoliquito created this? Or did the people inside the Eagles locker room create this?
No, I think this city creates this tone, this tenor, this energy. But this story, it's definitely worth perking up your ears for.
All right, so who created it?
It depends. You got to let people know the story. Let them hear the story.
Right.
So most people haven't read the paper this morning.
Here's the title. Philadelphia better watch itself or it will lose another superstar. And so Joe starts the article writing about, Wilt Chamberlain and all the success that he had statistically, and then he leaves. And then I skip that part. He then, because nobody's comparing Jalen Hurts to Wilt Chamberlain.
Correct.
But the point that he's making is, Jalen Hurts has had so much success here, and yet there's potentially a chance that he leaves. So this is where it really starts. Somehow, all of that seems glossed over under a deluge of doubt entering this season. Words like polarizing have been used to describe him. This coming season, in some media circles, is being labeled a prove-it year for Hurts. He has limitations. There are no doubts about that.
He's listened to this.
But what stands above everything else is that he wins. The fear is that Philadelphia may be pushing another superstar out the door. Now, let's address the prove-it year thing. We have talked about it. It starts with our man Derek Gunn, who joined us back in March. Man, have we revisited this a lot.
It's what we do in the city. Yes.
Back in March, Derek Gunn joined us, and we straight up asked him, hey, by the way, any talk about a contract extension? He immediately says no, shoots it down right away. He goes, I don't want to call it a prove-it year because I believe he's proven that he belongs in the NFL. But it seems like coming from in-house, there might be a quiet prove-it year.
And as I pointed out, which is a strong factual argument, the vast majority of quarterbacks do not have an extension at this point. When they have 3 years left, they don't have an extension. So it's like it's a story that's being made that is a story that really doesn't, in other cities, it's not a story. But in this city, it's a story because Howie likes to do things way in advance. Mm-hmm. But it's not a story in other cities because it's not abnormal for a quarterback with 3 years left to not have an extension at this
I know
point.
it's a story in Baltimore. They're talking about contract extension. He's waiting a year.
And he's going to wait.
Yeah.
And he's going to wait. And remember, everything's a contract with him. It is because, remember, Mama had to negotiate the contract. He's always got something going on. But more importantly, it's not odd for a quarterback to not have a contract at this point.
Well, the story continues. He says there is no question there is friction between Hurts and departed number one receiver A.J. Brown. Wow. Breaking news, everybody.
No question.
Although Brown's angst was aimed partly at Hurts, he should have taken good inventory of himself. Brown had a 2025 season in which he gave up on routes, gave up on tracking passes, and gave up on his teammates. Last year was Brown's worst as a pro since 2021. Ironically, his last in Tennessee. Brown then had the audacity to blame everyone around him but himself.
By the way,
very good paragraph for two there.
By the way, you want to talk integrity. Joe, I can tell you, has had over the years, has had a very, very tight relationship with A.J. Brown and his camp. As far as just, they've had very, very tight relations. Joe has integrity. If he believes something, he writes it.
Yeah.
If he hears something, he writes it. I was floored when I read that.
Well, it also...
I was floored when I read that because to me, that was strong.
It also goes to show
believe,
that people were way over the top in protecting A.J. Brown, which I never understood.
I believed that's exactly how the A.J. Brown story should be worded. He quit on his teammates. He quit on things. He was a quitter. I was surprised at that wording, knowing Joe's relationship in that over the years, but his integrity, I shouldn't have been surprised because that's the Joe that I've known since ninth grade.
Now, that's pretty much it with AJ because then the rest is about Jalen.
It's about Jalen.
And by the way, Joe Santoliquito will be joining us coming up at 7 o'clock this morning. For some reason, it seems like Hurts is nowhere near as appreciated as he should be in Philadelphia. Anywhere else, considering his achievements, Super Bowl MVP, his winning resume, and the simple fact that he just wins would be celebrated in almost every other NFL city. Not here. Hurts will soon be up for another contract extension. The Eagles have not budged yet on that. They better watch out. There are some around Hurts who feel he may have been traded after last season, and some around him and in some NFL circles that he may be gone after this coming season if he does not perform. Which is why I said it's the number one storyline, because it's the quarterback, it's the franchise quarterback, it's everything that you say. The fact that he wins, the resume, it sounds crazy that we're having this conversation, but I believe, based off of what Derek Gunn said to us, based off of what every reporter has backed up, and now this article, that yes, the Eagles are setting up a quiet prove-it year for Jalen Hurts. It's getting louder than quiet at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say.
This isn't quiet.
It's not quiet anymore, and that's why a couple Fridays ago when I said it's the number one storyline for me to be following, it's this. And here we are again with another damning story, not on just Jalen.
Well,
this is a both parties
Why is this
thing.
a damning story? That's what I got to ask you. What's damning about the story?
That he feels like he's not getting the support from the organization. I
why
agree.
Why is that damning?
I agree with it. It's damning toward the Eagles.
I think it's damning towards the Eagles, and I think the Eagles. And by the way, I think it's damning towards a large portion of this fan base.
Sure.
I think this fan base, which honestly is looked upon, we do not realize We do not take the time to ever look in the mirror and understand how we're looked at. And I truly believe that other franchises would kill to have the success we've had.
Yes, absolutely.
And we can't enjoy it.
Yeah, because we want more, damn it.
And ridiculous for a franchise that has never had anything like this. But the spoiled brats generation, which I'm just pointing to you because of your age.
Thanks a lot.
I'm pointing because of your ages. The spoiled brat generation goes, I've grown up with filet mignon every night, so I demand even more. You're like the little fat kid in Willy Wonka. You want more and more and more.
Gus's Gloob.
Whereas, I didn't know the name.
Love the chocolate river.
You like that? Okay. There are 22, I would say 22 other franchises that would look at the Eagles' run that they've been on in your lifetime. Mm-hmm. No, I'd say 24, 25 in your lifetime and go, what the hell are these people doing? Why do they sound so effing miserable?
All right, but
why are these people miserable?
You're spinning this to Eagles fans. This is the organization.
No, this is Jalen Hurts saying, this is Jalen Hurts going, what is that? Where's the appreciation? Like, where is this? Why is this scrutiny?
And oh, by the way, if you guys listen to the show throughout the course of the season, I hated the articles that were being dropped.
I think you did, and you did. You absolutely did.
Look, I get it. I come off as a Jalen Hurts hater because I'm not a Jalen Hurts lover.
And you are not. No, you are not.
I just don't love him as much as a lot of other people do.
You are very balanced.
I freaking respect the guy that wins all the time. And that's why last year during the season, because some of you might be joining the show for the first time, some of you may have just seen the clip that went viral a couple weeks ago, and my name was drugged through the mud for like 3 freaking days in this city. And then people thought I ran away and hid, but I was just off for a couple of days. The Philadelphia Eagles and all these stories that came out during the season, I thought was an embarrassment to the organization. Now, it might have been just Petullo. It may have just been him trying to get ahead of the story.
He's a big part of it.
I think he did a lot of whisper down the lane. I mean, Richard Sherman pretty much exposed him of that. Do I believe A.J. Brown probably was the voice of some of these stories that came out?
Well, we already know that we knew that was shady.
Yeah.
No, Shady literally looked at his phone.
Right.
He looked at his phone and then put his phone down.
But here's where it gets damning toward the organization, some players in the locker room, other than Jordan Mailata. Because I believe there is one man that has been like the fighter for Jalen.
Okay, explain why.
Jordan Mailata never hesitates to go to the media and defend Jalen Hurts. Never does.
Never.
I think he's a great teammate. I want Jordan Mailata in my foxhole. He might not be able to fit because he's a big man.
In a bar fight, I'd absolutely love him.
But I want Jordan Mailata having my back. If I was ever a single man, thank God I'm happily married. But if I was a single man, I want Jordan Mailata to be my wingman. Because I think Jordan Mailata is always there to have your back. Some close to Hurts feel that the Eagles did not support him enough when some constructively insightful stories came out this postseason about some of his deficiencies on the field. Like the way Eagles teammates did at the urging of the Eagles over the constructive criticism Carson Wentz received in January of 2019.
And that is absolutely true.
So many teammates, came to the defense of Carson Wentz. And what did we find out by that Joe Santoliquito story? That it was accurate.
Well, here's the deal, though. Here's the difference. When the Carson Wentz story came out, and the Eagles can deny this all they want, they're wrong. And they can't pull my credential. The Eagles went on the offensive and said, dispel this story. Mm-hmm. Like, do everything you can to dispel the story about Carson Wentz. And they literally were begging players to come out and dispel that story because they wanted to discredit that story. It ended up being true. We ended up finding out it was completely true. But they were trying to mount their own campaign of lies, lies, lies,
so they
lies.
Don't want to discredit this one.
I think they were afraid to go the same route in this one. But the question then begs, is it true or not?
Well,
to me, here's what I would say is, if anyone ever said a word about you, and I'm telling you this, if I am Connor, if I am here, if I am in, let's say,
New Zealand,
Vegas, if I'm in wherever, and anyone ever said a word about you in this industry, and I was asked, and I wouldn't even have to be asked, I'd pick up the damn phone and say, bullcrap, let me tell you about the Connor Thomas, Andrew Salciunas that I know.
They're way worse.
They are. Oh, I'd have the tell-all. Especially on you, Connor. I'd have the tell-all. I mean, to me, it does speak volumes that people won't come to your defense. It speaks volumes about their personal buy-in to you, and to me...
And what do they all say about A.J. Brown? They all love him.
They love him, but they love him. But they also think he's a man-child.
Yeah, of course.
They think he's a... What did Jordan say the other day? The debacle. The A.J. Brown debacle. Thank you, Jordan, for putting it into words that the man let a defense of the Super Bowl championship turn into a debacle because he's a man-child.
Yeah.
Because he was selfish and he was a man-child.
So, look, this story that comes out, and then there was more about he did not like that, or the Jalen Hurts camp. Could have been Jalen, could have been somebody in the camp. The Jalen Hurts camp was not happy with the way Hurts can't be coached. That perception that was thrown out there.
And guess who that's coming from?
Yeah, that's probably Jalen Hurts saying, what do you mean?
No, but who's it with? The thing is, though, is that I'm going to tell you this flat out right now. And I've interviewed him personally multiple times. And I talked when he coached Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has never been. If Nick Saban finds you coachable,
yeah,
you're coachable.
Yeah.
That is the biggest load of crap I've ever heard.
No,
By the way,
the article straight up says he likes to ask why, and Kevin Patullo couldn't answer why.
If Doug Peterson finds you coachable, yeah I'm going to take their word for it over whoever doesn't find you coachable.
So here's one last paragraph, and then we want to get your reaction to this entire story that we went through. You know, we took bits and pieces from it at 610-632-0975. Let's see what Sean Mannion brings. Let's see where Hurts goes after next season. And even if he has a great year, will he even want to come back to Philadelphia in 2027? Ultimatums seem like they are pushing him out the door right now. I have not gotten that sense from just being here in this chair. The sense that I will go back to over and over and over again is, yes, the Eagles are doing a quiet prove-it year. Now, as you can imagine, YouTube already buzzing. Shout out to our YouTube audience this morning. I see Renee, our old good friend Renee, who did not believe the A.J. Brown story for the longest time until the trade actually happened. Renee mentioned that Jalen Hurts still has 3 years left on his deal. I'm going to say what I said, I guess 2 weeks ago or on Monday morning of last week, so 8 days ago. I'm going to guarantee you something right now. Jalen Hurts, and I'm not even saying the Eagles, I'm saying Jalen Hurts and his camp will not play on the contract that's currently written next season, 2027.
He will not set 1 foot on the field.
The guaranteed money drops into the low 20 millions, which sounds like a lot for us, but it's not for them. Jalen Hurts, I'm guaranteeing you something now. Jalen Hurts could have the best year ever or the worst year ever. Well, maybe not the worst year ever, but Jalen Hurts could have the best year ever, middle of the pack year. He is not playing on the contract that is currently drawn up in 2027. What would have to happen is a sheet of paper will be ripped up and they will have to renegotiate. And if not, we're having the June 1st talk all over again. You just take out the name A.J. Brown. Place the name Jalen Hurts.
There's no question. There's absolutely no question Jalen's not playing another year. At the end of this year, that'll be it. If he's not getting a new contract, he's gone. He'll be gone because there's no such thing as holdouts anymore. If they don't want to offer him a contract, that means that they're peddling him. And by the way, they could get a haul for Jalen Hurts. Yeah. They could get a haul for him. And it would tend to make me believe if they don't offer him a contract, that's exactly what they want. And they're willing to go into the quarterback claw machine and say, we think we can just pick somebody out of oblivion and they can come in here and they can do a better job than him. Good luck with it.
All right.
Jordan Love, right? Jordan Love. Yeah, he's a big winner. Yeah, so, he's been a big winner, guys like him.
So, John, I will ask you because you have pointed out, a lot of quarterbacks, like all quarterbacks in history, don't normally get a contract at this point. Do you believe, now that you've read this article, based off our conversation with Derek Gunn, numerous other reporters in this city, whether you agree with the Eagles' strategy or not, do you believe the Eagles are quietly setting up a prove-it year for Jalen Hurts?
I never doubted that they were.
All right.
But I mean, I question them on it.
Sure.
I question the strategy. And honestly, I'll do it with a capital D. I think they're dopes. I think they are dopes. And I think the fact that this feeling that the quarterback that has this much on his resume with this organization has these feelings about his employers, has these feelings about how he's been treated, I think they're dopes. It's terrible.
So this is where today is going to be fascinating. At 610-632-0975. The Philadelphia Eagles, out of all the organizations in this city, I feel like are the ones that can do no wrong the least, even though they're the most criticized.
But they are the best as far as they have done. Under Jeffrey Lurie, they have been amazing. PR, not always their best, though.
But, like, if the Eagles sign the worst player in the world, there are people that go, oh, man.
Benefit of the doubt.
They must be seeing something in this guy.
Absolutely.
There's also a lot of super Jalen Hurts fans. Like, big time. And as there should be. He won the freaking super. I mean, like, let's go. Like, of course there's super Jalen Hurts fans.
They're far outnumbered by the Jalen Hurts haters who are irrationally hating.
You think there's more haters than supporters? I don't agree.
Absolutely. Not even a question.
I think you're hearing crazy lunatic fringe.
Wow, I got to tell you, I think as far as I can't believe the nonsense that I hear about Jalen Hurts. Considering, and I just say to myself, those people, I can always tell their age.
If only we had a poll to determine this.
Well,
Connor.
Are you more Team Eagles or Team Jalen in this? Because this is splitting. Like,
it's going to be splitting.
Jalen Hurts' camp is not happy with the team and the organization for not having his back.
He's not happy with the organization, meaning it's not his team. It's not necessarily all his teammates either.
It's front office.
It's a front office.
It's coaching staff.
How about this? It's Jeffrey Lurie somehow and Big Dom, another one. Here we go, Big Dom again, having to be like cajoling and hugging and kissing on A.J. Brown.
Maybe.
As he tries to tear down a team trying to win a Super Bowl. While the quarterback is doing all the hard work and doing all the right things. And you got A.J. Brown being cajoled and A.J., come here. Come in for a hug.
Are you Team Jalen or Team Eagles in this story? Also, where would you put yourself in the Jalen Hurts fan club? Like, are you like the super fan, like, I'm going tattoo of Jalen Hurts on me? Are you the, I respect what he does? Are you the, hey, I respect him, but are you the, I hate Jalen Hurts crowd? Because there are a lot of them.
Oh, there are.
What would you consider yourself when it comes to Jalen Hurts? That's how we're starting the show after a big story like this. Joe Santaliquito joins us coming up at 7 o'clock today. You can climb in before that on the Davis on a text line, 610-632-0975. We will get your reactions coming up next. Also, Jeffrey Lurie, back in March, spoke on Jalen Hurts. Hear that next here on The Fanatic.
I know that Dan White and Associates, I've been so proud to be able to speak to you about this great company. And Dan White and Associates being around for almost 4 decades, specializing in retirement and financial planning. They do it right. They gain your trust. And how they do that is by not being pushy. So how about inviting you to a meal, like one of their educational seminars, where you can sit there and you can have a lunch or a dinner and you can hear them speak about what their company can do for you. They specialize in retirement and financial planning. So let's say you're getting started out and you want to have goals, you have ambitions, and you want to have the financial guardrails set up to help you reach those goals. They can do that. Let's say you're more like me and you're heading towards the time of your life where you want to be able to play more golf. You want to be able to travel and sit around a pool. Well, Dan White & Associates can help you create income in retirement that will help you support the lifestyle that you want to live. And those conversations about money, sometimes they are the most overwhelming, the most intimidating. Not with Dan White, not in his entire team. They're a great group of folks, and they're offering you a complimentary, no-risk consultation. So I want you to have that first conversation. I promise you. If you have the first one, you'll have the second one. So check out danwhiteandassociates.com. And when you do, tell them John Kincade from The Fanatic sent you. Have the first conversation and then breathe. They're going to stress test your plan. And I promise you, you'll feel better that you had the conversation.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies shut out the Marlins. I'm Connor Thomas. The Phillies took down the Fish last night 7-0 to take a win in their series opener last night at the bank. Zach Wheeler went 6 scoreless innings, striking out 9 in his start. And Gabriel Rincones Jr. hit his first career homer. He and JT Realmuto both went yard to help lead the offense. Rincones talked afterwards with the NBC Sports Philadelphia crew about his big moment.
I don't even know what to say. I felt like I was floating. I didn't know what was going on. I mean, like I said, man, I can only dream of this stuff. Seriously, I don't know what to do. Do you guys know what to do?
I know what to do. Keep doing what you're doing, kid. The Phillies could use some outfield help, and that was good to see last night. It wasn't all good news for the Phillies. Trey Turner exited the game after getting hit by a pitch on his right wrist. X-rays after the game were negative. It's a right wrist contusion for Turner. Game 2 is tonight at 6:40 p.m. Jesus Luzardo faces Tyler Phillips. As the Eagles have hit the doldrums of their offseason, the news cycle has not stopped. The new report from Joe Santoliquito has pointed to some uncertainty for the future of Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. He will join us coming up at 7 a.m. So we'll talk to him, and Amy Fadul joins us from the 8 o'clock hour till the end of the show. This update is brought to you by Rosenbaum Injury Law. If you've been injured, don't settle for less because winning means everything. Call Rosenbaum & Associates today for a free consultation. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
Is the plan to keep Joel, and can you say with 100% certainty that Joel Embiid is back for 2026?
Yeah, Joel's ours right now. I've had great conversations with him. We FaceTimed. I'm actually going to see him in a couple days to kind of sit down in person with him. But, you know, we just got to get Joel on the court. You know, obviously when he plays, we're really good. He's still a dominant force. I mean, he can get 25 in his sleep. And I know he's self-motivated. You know, obviously he doesn't like the questions about him not being available, but he wants to play. He wants to be on the court. And, you know, that's on me. That's on our whole staff and Nick and the whole building to get him to his best self.
There is no reason to panic about the Jalen Carter contract situation. And lo and behold, John Kincade this morning did exactly what I thought he would. Price is wrong. Went on this morning, Bill's 100% wrong. We need to be concerned. If they don't get a contract in place in 6 weeks, literally, he said 6 weeks 4 times. In 6 weeks by training camp, Jalen Carter might hold in. He might show up and not participate. He might this, he might that, he might this. Guess what? I could die walking out of here.
I got a question.
That could happen too in the next 6 weeks. But I don't want people to panic, Ricky Bo. There is still 6 weeks to go. Yes, they are in negotiations with Jalen Carter. I was told by the Philadelphia Eagles they fully expect to get the contract done. And under the current NFLPA agreement, you can't hold out. We saw what happened to Hassan Reddick. You could go back to what happened with Le'Veon Bell. Jalen Carter's under contract for 2 more years. He's got this year. He's got next year under the 5th-year option. Yes, would you like them to get this deal done sooner rather than later? Of course you would. But on June 10th and now June 11th, to be trying to get all-out panic about this situation is absurd.
the Eagles have a culture. And it's really weird, though, what surprises me. And I go back to the first segment and you sort of saying to me, I don't care about all that stuff with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo and everything. You don't value it. I do. I so value the mentality of having players that want to be football players over celebrities first. There is zero question in my mind, zero, that Jackson Dart loves being a celebrity and is enjoying being a celebrity. And to me, I think that's great for Eagles fans. I think it's awesome because he hasn't accomplished a damn thing, and he's loving being a celebrity. Scatterbo cannot help himself but to be out and about being a celebrity, being spotted. Where has he been? What's he doing? What's he been? I love it. Let them be living that life. Where can we be? Where can we walk a red carpet? Where can we be seen? I will take life with Jalen Hurts, boring-ass Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley, who literally are as boring as white milk and saltine crackers. And I will I'll take it all day long because I think you win with players like that.
More of Kincade and Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
This hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
All right, 6:33 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Reacting to the Joe Santoliquito story that drops yesterday. He will be joining us coming up at 7 o'clock, and it's more so from the camp of Jalen Hurts this time. It's almost like, two can play at that game. I hated last season when the articles kept on coming out about Jalen Hurts. Hated it. And part of it was because, that's your brother. That's your teammate. Like, what are you guys doing? Also, I feel like we were missing the objective. The objective was still to win a Super Bowl. It almost seemed like a lot of people were, like, realizing they weren't going to win, John. So let's try to get ahead of some of these stories now. I kind of got that sense.
You think that's where it was at?
Yeah, like Petula was like, all right, this is my only shot being an OC. Let me try to throw some stuff out there.
I can't, to me, what I can't get past, and honestly, again, and I'm part of it, but I'm part of it, but I'm not part of it, is I can't get over the fan base. I can't get over a fan base, and I can tell you, this is where when I say to you, the fan base has changed in this city. There is never a time in past generations where this city would have embraced A.J. Brown and his crap of last year and been all over Jalen Hurts. Never would have happened. The antics of A.J. Brown would have been decried by if you're somebody who's 30, your grandfather, they would have been like, what a punk, what a joke, what a jerk. And yet there were people just lining up to just worship at his feet. And he was tearing down a team trying to win another Super Bowl with his own precious little antics. I've never understood it, but this is clear that Jalen has his own hurdles to overcome.
Yeah.
Impressing his bosses.
Well, his hurdles.
Impressing his bosses.
Yeah, his hurdles are in the building. Like, I understand what you're saying about the city, right?
It never would have been this city, but never would have had a fan base 25 years ago that would have embraced what A.J. Brown did. Never would have been embraced like this.
But, John, forget the fan base. This is about
No, that's what I'm saying.
team. Like,
no,
this
I'm saying. No,
this is Jalen Hurts is clearly upset with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, but he's upset. When you say team, you gotta make it. He's upset with his. I think it's Jeff Lurie.
Maybe
I think it's
some of
Howie.
his-
No, I think it's Jeff Lurie, Howie Roseman. Remember, when you say team, people think then teammates.
Right, but
and
it
I do
could
not
be
believe.
some. It could be some.
Could be some.
There's probably
but
factions,
but it could be
right?
some. It could be some with any guy at any workplace.
Sure.
It's not an issue with teammates. It's an issue with team. It's an issue with Howie. Yeah, what Jeffrey Lurie did, cajoling on and Big Dom inserting himself, cajoling the A.J. Brown nonsense, I think had to really piss off Jalen Hurts.
Maybe
And if it didn't, then he's a better man than I am.
Here
I'll tell you, it
was
pissed me off.
Jeffrey Lurie. This was back in March. They had the league meetings going on. And Jeffrey Lurie, it was like his one State of the Union address that Jeffrey Lurie does. And I mean State of the Union because Philadelphia is the center of the world. The State of the Union address that Jeffrey Lurie had about the Philadelphia Eagles. And he was asked about Jalen Hurts' contract because, again, that's become a story. So you guys know in terms of the timeline, that Derek Gunn interview that we had with him happened before
Yes,
the
it
league
did.
meetings.
Yes,
so
it did.
I wonder if that was a jumping off point for some reporters going, let me look into this. And they asked Jeffrey Lurie about it.
He's under contract. Oh, I love Jalen. I mean, there's no bigger fan of Jalen than me. Clutch Gene, absolutely. You know, the guy, MVP of the Super Bowl 13 months ago, should have been MVP of the Super Bowl right before that against Kansas City the first time. Exceptional and so dedicated. I mean, I think you probably know, spend a lot of time with Jalen, and he's, as I do with most quarterbacks, and incredibly dedicated to the game, to winning, and being a huge winner. I love everything about him. So those things take over time. We never would discuss it. He's in the middle of a new contract now.
There you go. He loves Jalen. I would hope that he loves Jalen. We've talked about the Philadelphia Eagles, this 5-year window being the most successful window ever in the history of the freaking franchise.
Correct.
I would hope that he would love Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, and that wasn't coach speak of like Nick Sirianni, oh, I love this guy.
No,
that
that
you
was-
hear
that-
about every guy on the roster.
That was real.
That was real love there.
But
But
he spins the contract thing. Yeah, Jeffrey, you're right. You're not negotiating now. Next year you will be. He's not playing on this contract next year.
well, he knows that, and I don't think Jeffrey Lurie would expect that he would be playing under that contract. But he doesn't have to. It's not some crazy story that he's going to play under a contract with 3 years left on the deal that he's going to play this year. It's not. It's in Philly. It's a big story
Because Howie gets in front of it.
because Howie is known for doing these sneaky deals.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is.
All right. Well, are you Team Jalen or Team Eagles when it comes to this story? You guys know how I feel, even though it's been misinterpreted. I believe the prove it year deal, prove it year thing, and I'm not saying prove it does Jalen Hurts belong in the NFL. I'm saying the prove it, are we going to pay this guy? How much did Patrick Mahomes get the other day? $63 million a year?
He got it's 64. He set
64.
the new bar. The new bar is at 64.
I don't think he's getting 64. I don't think anybody should. It's Patrick Mahomes. He's on a class of his own. But we're now talking maybe 60. Right? He's not getting 57 if Mahomes is getting 64. So I'm fine with them waiting a year, seeing if it all works out, and then paying a couple extra $1 million. I've been very, very feet dug in the sand with that stance.
And you say, by the way, it's more than a couple. Just so you understand.
yeah.
Just so you understand. It's not going to be a couple.
It'll be from 55 to what, 60? So that's $5 million. It's a hefty amount of money that Jalen Hurts is going to get.
Yeah.
If he performs well this year.
It's going to be significantly different.
So, what do we got on the text line? Davis on the text line. Field of Davis Sivers. Check him out in Burlington.
This texter says, I would lean Team Jalen only because a good quarterback is hard to find and not something to take for granted. And as a fan, I love watching my team win. Jalen might not be the most talented quarterback, but he consistently leads the team to victory, and he 100% has more haters than lovers. That's not debatable.
And here's what's
You seem surprised by that answer.
yeah.
You do this for a living, and you're very in tune, I think. He absolutely has more haters than he has more. He is so critiqued. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's why
it's stupid. No, it's flat out capital S stupid.
I don't think it's as easy as lovers versus haters. I think I respect Jalen Hurts. I believe his game has limitations. Am I a hater for saying I believe his game has limitations?
You're not, because you're not one of the And by the way, I don't think you're in any way I don't think you've been in any way someone who's gone out of their way to be.
Yeah, but I have a microphone in front of me, so I'm hot.
No, but you haven't been out of your way to be that. So
right.
No, absolutely not. I would defend you every.
So I don't think it's clear cut one side or the other.
This city, though, no, absolutely. This city, the overwhelming, yes, he absolutely. It's ridiculous. We look like cartoon characters. We look like cartoon characters the way we treat Jalen Hurts in this city. We look like fools, but we don't understand it. We don't get it.
Well, here's why. You heard what the guy said. He loves Jalen, right?
But,
read the text.
Yes.
The first 3 lines.
Yeah, so I love Jalen Hurts, and he's not the most talented quarterback, but he 100% wins.
And that's the difficult conversation about Jalen Hurts. You sound like an idiot if you don't respect Jalen Hurts, because all he does is win. But I also think it's inaccurate. I won't say idiot. It's inaccurate to say he's a top 2 quarterback in the NFL.
It is absolutely, but the thing is nobody. That's a totally different argument.
Absolutely.
The amount of appreciation that Jalen Hurts gets in this city is embarrassing.
Yeah, you think it should be more.
It's embarrassing. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. You and I both are Team McNabb.
Yes.
As far as greatest quarterback we ever saw.
I think that guy gets no respect.
And I think he gets. But this city treats quarterbacks poorly to begin with. But for Jalen Hurts, it's embarrassing.
All right, well, coming
Number
up.
5 will always love you.
He's got to drop one of those. Number 1 will always love you.
No, he may not. He may not. And guess what? He wouldn't bother.
Now, he would say, the standard is the standard.
He'd sort of be like AJ taking back his Love You Philadelphia post.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
No, I don't think he's even going to bother. He'll just be like.
Coffee bean.
He'll be like, deuces.
Wait.
I'm out.
I had a goal before anyone had an opinion.
I'm out.
Purpose.
To be just
Purpose,
like, I'm out. Purpose. I'll be out.
Michael Jordan. All right, coming up next, we have the poll of the day running on this. We'll get to the poll. Also, Phillies with a nice win yesterday, and Zach Wheeler just continues to be a freaking beast. We'll talk about it next year on The Fanatic.
The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, folks, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every single match from the opening stage all the way to the final. You've even got games right here in the great city of brotherly love. And coming your way Friday, Brazil is taking on Haiti. That might sound like a major mismatch. Well, yesterday, Spain drew with Cape Verde, a country 1/10 the size of Philadelphia. Saudi Arabia drew with Uruguay. There are some weird results going, so maybe you want to trade on Brazil to draw with Haiti. That's an 8% probability right now on Kalshi, meaning a $100 trade pays out $1,174. The best part about Kalshi is you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. So for a limited time, download the Kalshi app, and make sure you use code FANATIC, because you'll get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi. That's Kalshi. Trade the beautiful game. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
John Marks.
Do we believe what he's doing right now? What do you think?
That's a rough question, Ricky.
Well, it's a loaded one, of course.
It is. The jury for me is still so out. I mean, the past week offered some reason to think it's still in there. Did we think that before? I don't know anybody who did. On the other hand, even if you look at this past week, it's a 241 batting average with 0 walks over the last 8 games. But there's 3 homers and a double in there, and I think within that, there's some signs this might not be the disaster than people thought it was. And the reason to think that is his swing now is just totally different than it was in spring training and even what it was a few weeks ago. He's moved back in the box. He's opened up more than we've ever seen him. He's not pointing that bat at the pitcher anymore, which made his setup so long, so slow. I just don't know what it means yet. I keep thinking back to that 2023 postseason. I'm sure you guys remember it well. That dude homered 5 games in a row in the LCS and World Series. But since the second half of that next season, 2024, I can only find 2 other weeks like this one where he even hit 3 bombs in a week. So, let's see what the next week looks like. I would just say I still think he's going to get a lot of runway. I mean, there's no one literally to replace him out there. There's no star right-handed hitting right fielder they can go trade for.
So let's do that. Now, Andrew Salciunas has the day off today. It is not because of a clip that went viral from our show last week about Jalen Hurts. He's got regular vacation, but he was getting ripped because he said his number one question for the Eagles this year is about Jalen Hurts' performance at the quarterback position with the change in offense, Sean Mannion now taking over. What is your evaluation of that? Is that your number one question?
My number one question for this team this year would be if the offensive line can stay healthy and hold up. And it's not a very sexy question, right? Like, if the offensive line isn't healthy, we can't get Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson back to health. I don't care what plays Sean Mannion's calling. They're not going to have much of a chance. The offensive line has to be better. It has to be healthier. They've been the foundation of that team for so long. They've been responsible for so much success. We're talking about elite, all-time Eagle talents. So I don't say this in a critical way, but I say it in a way in which the offensive line has had to play through some injuries, and it's aging. And are they going to hold up?
This is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
It is 6:48 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. A lot of Eagles talk today after the Joe Santoliquito story drops yesterday. He will be joining us coming up at 7 o'clock. Right at 7 o'clock, Joe Santoliquito wrote the article, Philadelphia better watch itself or it will lose another superstar. And this was about Jalen Hurts. And he had some sources from within the Jalen Hurts camp where Hurts did not feel maybe the support that it was shown when the damning article came out about Carson Wentz, written by Joe Santoliquito.
By the way, do you feel that he's gotten enough support? That you two haven't?
No, I've said it. I hated those articles all year. As much as people are starting to paint me as like this Jalen Hurts hater, I hated those articles last year. I thought they were just so in poor taste. Oh, this isn't going well, so let's put out all the Jalen Hurts issues, and not the fact that the offensive coordinator was inept. That guy sucked. Kevin Patullo.
Now here's the deal. Who let Kevin Patullo be hired?
Nick Sirianni. I ripped him for it too.
Who let Kevin Patullo be hired? Yeah. So to me, I will connect the dots from doing this long enough to say, so who would have been doing cover your ass for Kevin Patullo?
Maybe the head coach that doesn't want to lose his job.
Howie, the head coach.
Yeah.
So it would have been.
And as I've said about Nick, and I'm not saying I wouldn't do the same thing to an extent, Doug Peterson would have, he was the captain of the Titanic, would go down with his ship.
He would have.
Nick Sirianni,
I don't believe it,
would have found the first lifeboat.
Yep.
If I'm being honest, I don't think that makes Nick Sirianni a bad guy.
No, it doesn't.
It's just Nick Sirianni will go, all right, I don't want to lose this job. I'm going to do what I can.
I got a great gig.
Yeah. Whereas Doug's like, no, Mike Groh, damn it.
No.
I am dying with Mike Groh and Press Taylor. I'm bringing them to Jacksonville with me,
and he
damn
lost
it.
in Jacksonville because of it.
Whereas Nick Sirianni's like, oh, yeah, you want to fire that guy? Go ahead. Yeah, to get rid of that guy.
He'd be like, look, because he would have said, I'm a career coach.
Yes.
I know the game of coaching.
Right.
It's just part of the game. Doug Peterson's a player. Doug Peterson's a guy who's actually played in the league. He's a more of a loyalist of understanding that. It's just a different mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. What's the poll today looking like, Connor? I know that it's strong. Thanks to Dr. Avedon Appel and the team at Iron Mountain Men's Health. They just keep it strong for 4 hours every single morning.
Yeah, it's up and ready early in the morning. Our question today, do you believe the city of Philadelphia as a whole respects Jalen Hurts enough?
By the way, I will say no. And sometimes, as you say, John, look in the mirror. I have to look in the mirror. The guy wins all the time.
I also voted no on this poll. We're in the minority. 56% of our responders are saying yes. Only 44% are saying no.
Well, it's way early. It'll change.
You know what it is? It's the people that clearly probably don't respect him that are hitting yes.
Correct.
Saying,
Correct.
Hey, he's got no issues here.
He's got no issues. It's what I can tell you is we sound cartoonish when we talk about our starting quarterback. We sound cartoonish. Not us. I'm just saying is that as a collective fan base, the fact is the amount of cities that would kill to have Jalen Hurts to have had Jalen Hurts as their starting quarterback and the success that he's had. And more importantly, that watched him ball out on the biggest stages. And by the way, it's not only the 2 Super Bowls where he's outdueled Patrick Mahomes. He's outdueled them then in 2 other regular season games.
Yeah.
He's gone up against Patrick Mahomes 4 times and done it.
Yeah.
We don't. Let's not forget the regular season games too, where he's gone out and been able to take care of Patrick Mahomes. The Patrick Mahomes who everybody's like, oh, he's nothing. Patrick's the best.
Well, he is, but
no, he is. But guess what though?
I mean,
then Jalen isn't being carried in those games. Jalen's balled out and beating his ass. I mean, it's
defense was pretty good in the Super Bowl.
People do not have a point of reference because they've lived in the spoiled brat Eagles generation. They don't know how bad it can be. And I promise you this, and you guys will be here for it, and I'll check in with you. I promise you this, whoever wears that starting quarterback jersey after Jalen, if they would move on from him, will never give the success that he gave them. If they move on from him,
sure.
If there's a new quarterback next year, they go with some rookie. They go with some, they bring in, they try to get Baker Mayfield in here. They do something like that.
They get the gambler.
Will never, ever have the success on their resume as an Eagles quarterback that Jalen Hurts would walk away with.
All right. Phillies win yesterday. By the way, again, Joe Sanliquito joins us in about 6 minutes. Phillies beat the Marlins yesterday 7-0. We're going to get into a Zach Wheeler discussion later on today in the show.
Unreal.
Obviously, the Jalen Hurts article is going to, be the priority today. Wheeler just dominant again. 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, strikes out 9, walks 3. And the beauty of watching a Zach Wheeler start, and I probably have said this on the radio 1,000 times. You've probably said it on the radio 1,000 times. Connor, I'm sure you've said it on the radio 1,000 times. And the Locked On Phillies podcast. There is such just a calm when I watch him pitch. Like yesterday, Coop's watching freaking Dora the Explorer, which I wanted to claw my eyes out. It was annoying.
Dora, she's very talented.
Yeah, she's talented. So
if you get lost, wouldn't you want Dora to be with you?
And the map,
He's got
and the map, and the map,
Seriously.
And the map. So I was relegated to the laptop yesterday, and it was so nice to have my eyes wander around my house because I knew nothing bad was going to happen. I feel so safe.
You were in a safe space?
I was in a safe space.
He's the ultimate baseball security blanket.
I know you guys like your safe space.
Yeah,
You're that
it's
safe
my
space
safe
generation.
Space. I see Zach Wheeler on the mound. I'm like, yeah, they got this one. And I told you the bet that we should make every single time he pitches and Sanchez pitches. We finally would have gotten a loss with the Sanchez one. Bet the Phillies to win. Bet the under and runs for the opposing team.
And you
bet
won.
the over and strikeouts. Bet the.
And you didn't do it, did you?
No. Phillies win after 5 innings. Bet all those things. Every single time Wheeler and Sanchez starts, you might as well bet on it. And by the end of the year, I think you're going to come out with plus money.
I could have now when Painter pitches, I need the therapy puppies.
Yeah,
we
won't make that bet before the.
It's exam week. Let's bring in the therapy puppies.
All right, coming up next, Joe Sanliquito. Why are you guys talking about this today? Because a big article dropped where Jalen Hurts is not happy with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's
Philly
why.
media at it again.
We'll talk to the man who wrote it coming up next. He got this all started. I'm curious when he says, team. Is it players?
He'll tell you.
Is it coaches? Is it front office? Who is Jalen Hurts necessarily upset about? Find that out next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another dominant start for Wheeler. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place in MADD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MADD-HELP or visit MADD.org. Phil shut out the Marlins 7-0 last night in Game 1 of their series at the Bank. Zach Wheeler, 6 scoreless, striking out 9 in his start. Another dominant night for him. Gabriel Rincones Jr. hit his first career home run. Him and JT Realmuto both went yard in the game. Here's how the special moment for the rookie sounded like on NBC Sports Philadelphia.
And a high fly ball to deep right field. It is gone! Home run just inside the pole. His first career hit is a home run in his first game here at Citizens Bank Park.
Wasn't all good news for the Phillies last night. Trey Turner exited the game after being hit by a pitch on the right wrist. X-rays after the game were negative. It's a right wrist contusion for Turner. Game 2 is tonight at 6:40 p.m. Jesus Luzardo faces Tyler Phillips. The Eagles have not stopped the news cycle, even though they're done mandatory minicamp. A new report from Joe Santoliquito has pointed to some uncertainty for the future of Jalen Hurts here in Philadelphia. He joins us coming up next for a further breakdown of that article. This update's also brought to you by Family and Company Jewelers. Ditch the ties and gift cards this year and get to add something different. Get them a gift that shows you how much you care, like a hand-forged pocket knife from William Henry. FamilyJewelers.com. I'm Connor Thomas for home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Kincade and Salciunas, 6 to 10 a.m. Middays with Marks, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And Unfiltered with Ricky Bo and Bill Colarulo, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. The best.
Together, if they do, it's going to be a great season. If they don't, it's not. To me, that's where it starts.
Is the plan to keep Joel, and can you say with 100% certainty that Joel Embiid is back for 2026?
Yeah, Joel's
97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
It is 7 a.m. here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. The evil Philadelphia media has done it again. Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia Eagles. The title of the article, Philadelphia better watch itself or it will lose another superstar. And that was written on Bleeding Green Nation from our guest, Joe Santoliquito, who's joining us here on Kincade and Salciunas. Joe, good morning, man. How are you?
Good. Good morning, fellas. How are you?
You know, you've never written an accurate article in this city. That A.J. Brown Week 4 trade, that was fake. Carson Wentz, that was fake. So this one is also fake.
Johnny Weiss Jr. being approached in mid-December.
Yep, that one also fake. You've never written an accurate article ever in your career, and yet you keep on doing it. Joe, fascinating stuff that we read yesterday. We've been talking about it so far this morning. The friction that seems to be between now Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. So let's dive into this a little bit. One thing that John and I were trying to figure out early on, is this Jalen toward ownership, toward front office, toward teammates? Is it a collective, the lack of support that he got throughout the course of the season and off season?
Well, let me be specific again, and I made sure this was stated in the story itself. These are people close to Jim.
Yes.
That I spoke to. So I don't know, okay, if you want to interpret coming from Jim himself, but and their venom seemed to be pointed at the team. And their question was, why isn't anyone coming out and refuting some of this stuff? Now, I'm not going to refute any of it because I have the utmost respect for Tim McManus, Jeff McClain, Marcus Hayes. I can go down the list. I mean, you don't come across a better B group than the group that covers the Eagles. They're fantastic. They're the best in the business, I feel. And I've been around those guys for years. So they are, and I thought they were constructive deep dives on Hurts this past offseason. But, some of the people some of the folks that are close to Hurts were like, where's the other side of it? What are the Eagles saying about this? What are they coming out and saying about this? Now, the Eagles are capital L-I-V-I-D at me. Livid. Believe me, I got that yesterday afternoon, and John knows because he was there at ground zero. Livid at me for not going to them about anything. And I'm like, well, wait a second here. I looked all over the place. There was nothing after those stories were written in defense of Hurts. I mean, I went looking again after, maybe you're not looking hard enough. Well, you know what? Bring it to my attention what I may have missed. And, again, there was not – I'm looking, and I couldn't find anything. And I remember I was there at ground zero again when all that stuff came out. I'm the one that wrote it in reference to Wentz. And John, I think you were down there in Atlanta, but you knew what was going on. I was letting you know what was going on. And, the issue here was, no one – it still baffled me. Like, no one came out to say anything about this guy, in defense of this guy, whether it be players, whether it be something from the team itself. No one. And like I said, I'm looking over and over and over again, and that baffled me. In reference to what Lurie said, and this was interesting too, he said something down, remember the NFL meetings in late March in Arizona, where the Eagles had wind of what ESPN was doing. So maybe we can call that a preemptive strike by Lurie in throwing support at his franchise quarterback. I love you guys. I listen to you guys in the morning. I am 1 million % in favor of what you guys are saying. I mean, John, you and I grew up with the white helmeted Eagles.
Yes.
With Pete Lisk and Mike Barilla, and Norm Snead. So really, cut me a freaking break. This guy is a special guy. This guy wins. No, he's not Baryshnikov at a 2-2.
No.
But he's not Dan Marino, Joe Montana. But you know what? The bottom line is that he wins. And when I threw this out at some Eagles folks again that were pretty angry at me yesterday, I said, let me ask you guys this question. You're supportive of him. Well, throw out who I spoke to, what I said, what anything's been said or written about Jalen Hurts from me or anyone else. The bottom line is this: you guys haven't offered him a contract extension.
So, and that's something, Joe, that's something that we have been talking about a lot, the contract extension. And it's funny, Jeffrey Lurie has that it was late March, as you mentioned. Earlier that month, we had Derek Gunn on, legend, right? And we asked D. Gunn that question, like, hey, by the way, have you heard any whispers about a contract extension? And he said no without hesitation. And he told us on this show, I don't want to use the term prove it year, but it almost seems like the Eagles are quietly setting up a prove it year. And so to your point about this contract extension, John's been talking about how they don't need to. We can all be under the same agreement that he's not going to play on this contract next year because the money is going to drop, the guaranteed money.
Agreed.
So I'll straight up ask you, do you believe that the Eagles are setting up a prove-it year for Jalen Hurts with this offense and the fact that the passing numbers have not been great each of the last 2 seasons, even the season they won the Super Bowl?
Oh, yikes. I'm going to go prove it year in another direction.
Okay.
I'm going to go prove it year in terms of Nick Sirianni. That Jalen stays. And if someone has to prove it, the one that has to prove it is going to have to be Nick Sirianni.
I've thought that too. I had said that he's the more likely one to be in the prove it year just by around the league. That would seem to be the more likely one. And Joe, I got to ask you point blank, when you talk about Jalen's frustration with the team, when you say team, do you think the frustration is front office, Lori, Howie, or do you think teammates comes into that? As far as not getting enough defense.
Talking to the people getting close to Jalen, the impression was the team, not so much the players or anything else like that. Because again, they and also the gist of the story was the fact that this is a city that has a propensity of throwing out its superstars. I mean, this is a city that threw out one of its all-time greatest players in basketball history, Wilt Chamberlain, and one of the greatest players that ever played in the NBA, and Charles Barkley. This is a team that does not cuddle its superstars very, very well, and I believe, and I think you guys believe too, that Jalen Hurts is a superstar. Just treat him better than you have right now.
The only thing I'll put
talking to people that are close to him is the impression is this was aimed more so at the team. And when I brought up with one individual that I spoke to in reference to the story, I wish they would have came out. I wish they would have said something, this, and this. And I brought out to them, hey, listen, I was here at ground zero. I'm the guy that wrote it. When the thing came out on Wentz, and you guys all remember this, within an hour of that story going public, within an hour, you had major Pro Bowl players, and they were all down at the Pro Bowl, and at the assistance of Eagles media, hey, listen, guys, you got to come out and defend your guy here, Carson Wentz. There was nothing like that in reference to Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Thing is, though, is that there's when you're talking about, the Hurts camp, is that I would come to your defense. I would come to when the Wentz story came out. I did some Philly radio interviews. I said I've known Joe since we were teenagers. I said I know his integrity. I mean, like I'm surprised more teammates did not come out willingly to support him. I'm shocked by that.
Yeah, and then the same thing. And here's the thing: as I'm talking to you, John, one of the two guys that are on the interview here with me, John, you and I sat down in a Douglas sports bar for an hour and a half when you came home, when I did the big takeout story on you. And I'm thinking to myself again, because the Eagles are honestly, the Eagles are coming at me.
Yeah, they're really happy
with this and that. And yeah, they're overjoyed with me. But if you're going to accuse me of something, I think I have a pretty good track record. And, one of the various people that did come at me yesterday was literally sitting across a table from me as I was talking to one of the very people who was very much involved in this story.
It doesn't shock me because bullying is a tactic. Bullying is a tactic that these sports teams use. They use it. They want to control the messaging. They want to control it, and they're willing to bully to get the message that they want out there. And too many in our media today are willing to cajole them and play by their rules.
Well, I'm not one of them.
Yeah,
and
I knew that. I knew that.
Yeah. Hey, Joe.
I also find it interesting that they didn't come out at all with anything about A.J. Brown. Now, I knew what the truth was.
Correct.
I knew what the truth was with Wentz. I know what the truth is, at least with some of the people around Jalen Hurts and how some of the people around Jalen Hurts feel. And I'm armed with something very powerful, and that's the truth. Can I go as far as saying maybe Jalen thinks some of these things? Yeah, that these guys could have had my back more than they probably did. That's speculation. That's not from Jalen Hurts himself.
Right.
My people, the people that I spoke to were people that are pretty much ingrained with Jalen, and we're taken aback by, hey, listen, why don't you defend this guy, our guy, more than you are, if not at all. So, what I think is going to be the future? I think the Eagles are a very good organization. They are one of the best organizations, not only in the NFL, but in all the sports. They are about making their people happy. And that's one of the reasons, if not the reason, why they got rid of A.J. Brown. You want to be happy somewhere else? Good. Go somewhere else. I do think Jalen Hurts likes it here. I do think I feel strongly that he feels he should be more appreciated than he is by the fan base. But the Eagles are a very intelligent organization. They're going to extend him. They're going to re-sign him. And I think the prove-it year, I don't think falls in the lap of Jalen Hurts. I think the prove-it year actually falls in the lap of Nick Sirianni, regrettably. And this is a guy that's done nothing but win, too.
Yep.
So Joe, in your story, speaking about Jalen Hurts and his future here, you wrote that Hurts will soon be up for another contract extension. The Eagles have not budged yet on that. They better watch out.
Yeah.
There are some around Hurts who feel he may have been traded after last season, and some around him and in some NFL circles that he may be gone after this coming season if he does not perform. Yeah. So the future of Jalen Hurts, is it more hinging on his play or his desire of where he wants to be? Because you're saying that he may not necessarily feel appreciated here. So is this Eagles will make a decision on Jalen Hurts moving forward, or Jalen Hurts will make a decision on Jalen Hurts moving forward?
The latter.
So more Hurts.
Because you're again dealing with something here. And again, John and I went through it with the Barkley situation, where it came to a point in time where you can only kick me so long before I went out.
Yeah, and Charles definitely had hit his limit with patience with the Sixers. I don't know about him forced his way out, but it was just time for a divorce there. It was time for a divorce.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad weren't getting along anymore, and Charles needed to go somewhere else. Jalen, he hadn't had, Charles didn't have the success here. He had the personal success, but the Sixers weren't doing their part of the bargain to give Charles his stage, his opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Well, right. I hope, my concern with this is the Eagles. I hope they're not playing with fire here with this guy. I hope that they turn around and they realize what they have. I hope this fan base realizes what it has. Also, real quick here, because I know my time's limited, and I appreciate the time you guys are giving me on the air. I hope they appreciate. One John Kincade. I know, bro. You're going in a month from now. I had to get this in. You're a special guy. I was there at ground zero when you came back home. I know home means a lot to you. I don't want to get too more mushy on you than this, but you're a very special person. You mean a lot to this fan base. I think in my personal life, you've done a lot to me, and in sports media. I mean, you are someone that's fair, that's kind, that cares. And John, let's be blunt with each other. There's very few like you, bro. Very few like you.
Thanks, man. I love you. Thanks, Joe.
Okay.
I appreciate you, buddy.
I had one more question. But
I'm sorry.
All right, Joe.
I
know. How can I not have you ended on that? That was fantastic.
That just got me.
You're the man, Joe. We appreciate the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, Joe. Okay,
thank you, buddy.
There's Joe Santoliquito. So I was going to ask him, but let's talk about it as a show. And great work, Johnny, by getting Joe on. It's like you know him or something.
Yeah, it's only like we did ninth grade lunch together. One of the first guys I met at O'Hara. So one of the first guys that I ever met, and we've known each other ever since, and we've been friends ever since.
That's beautiful. So he was talking about fan base. He talked about organization. I'm going to speak to Jalen Hurts, I guess, here. I don't think Jalen Hurts will ever be able to sway public opinion. People are crazy, right? Both sides, like that Jalen Hurts can do no wrong and that Jalen Hurts can do no right. Like, the public opinion of Jalen Hurts will never be swayed. He won the Super Bowl, and it still wasn't swayed that much, right? If he's going to decide I'm not happy here, it's going to have to be strictly on the organization.
Yes.
Not the fan.
No.
I don't want to say ignore the fans, but I kind of need him to ignore the fans.
He likes Jalen likes being here. Jalen likes this. Jalen likes the city. Jalen likes being here. Jalen likes representing the Eagles brand. I don't think that it's a question of Jalen. Jalen doesn't hate this fan base. So there's. I don't think it's anything like that. But I think there are times that he has to look at himself and say, "What the hell? Like seriously, what the hell? What the hell is going on?"
Sure.
Like what's up?
Well, especially because I'm sure Jalen sees how other fan bases talk about their quarterbacks when they've done nothing.
Guys who are not even that don't have any of his. Some of them that don't have any of his accomplishments.
Yeah, like Josh Allen, and look, Josh Allen's a freaking stud, right? But Josh Allen could. I don't think has. I don't. He might not even have to pay for his house in Buffalo. I don't know if he lives exactly in Buffalo, but I don't think he has to pay for his house. He's that loved in that city.
And what has he done in the biggest of games?
Up until last year was his fault.
For the most part,
yeah, he came up
last
small
year. Last year he came up really small. He has not done what Jalen has done.
I'll ask you because you're more in tune with radio networks outside of Philadelphia.
Sure.
I barely know Philadelphia radio. Justin Herbert, is he beloved in L.A.? I know how the national media feels about him.
Justin Herbert, well, L.A.'s a strange one because it's such a strange market.
But do they love him out there?
Oh yeah, he's beloved because
and that guy has sucked in big moments.
But remember, it's about him. It is about him. It's more of
the prototype.
He's L.A.
He's the prototype. He's the prototypical quarterback.
But he's L.A. Now he's got the hot model girlfriend.
Yeah.
He's very L.A. He's perfect for that market. Jalen would be terrible for L.A. because he wouldn't play the game of L.A. Wanting to be Hollywood.
Jalen's perfect for here.
He is perfect for here. And he's handled this city. He's handled this city incredibly well.
It's amazing, right?
Incredible.
There are a lot of people. I love Five, right? You and I
both are huge Donovan McNabbites.
That dude would melt
under what Jalen's faced.
Yeah, that dude.
And he was just. And by the way, McNabb was disrespected.
Yes, he was,
and continues to be disrespected by a lot.
But he would melt if it was going on the way that it is now.
It would be a constant woe is me, and Donovan would make it all about Donovan.
Now I have a question.
Yes.
Slight concern. This is kind of the first time it feels like there's been some sort of breaking point for Jalen.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's here. Remember, the people in Joe's story, as he's telling you, that I'm not giving anything away.
Yeah.
People close to Jalen. We're talking about a story right now amongst us off the air. I'm making career decisions.
Yeah.
And they involve, it's not just John's career decisions. It's John's family involved in decisions.
Yeah, it's John's camp.
It's not just John's camp.
Yeah.
You're making a good point. John doesn't just make the call of saying, here's the job I want to take, here's what I want to do. John's got to run it up the flagpole of everybody sort of has to have buy-in.
You got to run it by your boss.
Everybody, you ain't kidding. Everything's got to have buy-in. So there's that story is, are people around Jalen feeling like I feel about Jalen? That he's being treated like crap.
And so?
That he's being treated really poorly around here.
Does it look, it shows that he's being human. That's big. That's a change.
Which, by the way, we all appreciate because I don't think he shows enough of it. If I was in his camp, I would say to him, show a little more humanity.
This may actually be the most humanity that Jalen Hurts, even though it was Jalen Hurts' camp, people close to Jalen. This is the most humanity that I think Jalen Hurts has shown that, yes, he does have emotion. Yes, he does feel a certain type of way about how things have been handled. Yes, he does feel a certain type of way about A.J. Brown and the way that the team did not necessarily have his back. So he is showing emotion, but this is a bad thing.
Do you relate to it?
Yeah, that's sure.
Like, do you say, because there is Joe in his car right now, or Bill in his car, or whoever it is, might be saying as they drive to, they're a plumber or a doctor or a teacher or whatever they are. They may be saying, suck it up, Buttercup. Because that's what my mom would be saying. That would have been my mom, tough Delco broad.
Right.
That's what she would have been saying. She would say, yo, suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, but
what are you making? What are you making? $40 million a year?
Right, but at
she
some
would have
point,
said that's part of the.
Somebody goes, I'm the one that's always getting the heat, and I'm not even the biggest problem here. The guy that quit on this team was.
Well, that's the thing, is that I was shocked that for such an intelligent fan base, that so many people were willing to be fanboys and shake their pom-poms for A.J. Brown. Or what I said to you, and it continued to baffle me, how people were willing to say, it's not a true story.
Well,
A.J. doesn't want out. It's the Philly media making it up. They sounded so stupid.
But you keep on bringing up the fans. This is the team.
Yeah, but guess what,
He's
though?
upset also with the organization.
But he is. But imagine every day you did what you've done somewhere, and you just say to yourself, you know what? At some point you're like, and it might be the case, he might just go, you know what? Screw this. Screw this. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of dealing with nonsense.
That's what John Kincade said about the YouTube chat. He said, you know what? Screw you guys.
You know what?
July 31st, I'm out.
I personally love great interaction. But I'm built.
Well, they hate our topic today because this is a non-story.
Oh, wait, is this another one?
It's another non-story, ladies and
it's another
gentlemen.
non-story. Are we doing this again?
Coming up next, we want to hear from you, all right? Phone line, Davis on the text line, voice memos, 610-632-0975, however you want to be a part of the conversation. You heard the man who wrote the article. What about you? Does this story change your perception on any of this? The team doing this, Jalen Hurts' camp having, they're upset with it. This isn't hot take Philly media trying to pin the two against each other. This is Jalen Hurts' camp, and Jalen Hurts, for the first time, showing emotion that he's upset toward the organization. At least that's how it seems through the story and the lack of appreciation from the fan base, according to Jalen's camp. How do you feel about this story? We'll talk about it next with you. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, let's talk about the FanDuel Sportsbook app that is just giving you so many options when it comes to the World Cup. On the biggest stage, FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is changing the game. This is such a cool opportunity for you. Sometimes your player gets subbed off the field, and when they go off the field in a normal game, or should I say the pitch, in a normal match, your bet's over. But in the World Cup, FanDuel's saying, no. We don't want that to happen to you. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. Connor, you're Mr. Footy over there. France won, 7-1?
That was Germany.
Germany? One of those countries. Germany
took down
won,
Curacao.
They won 7-1. I would imagine once it's like 4-1, they're probably like, all right, let's take some of these starters out. Well, if your starter didn't score a goal, you're screwed the second he leaves the pitch. But with this option, the guy that subs in, if that person scores a goal, you still win. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. 21+ and present in Pennsylvania. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The future of Hurts. I'm Connor Thomas, and we just talked to Joe Santoliquito, who had an interesting article in Bleeding Green Nation yesterday, a report talking about the uncertainty of the future for Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. Here's what he had to say about the genesis of that article.
Jalen Hurts is a superstar. Just treat him better than you have right now. And from talking to people that are close to him, the impression is this was aimed more so at the team.
So with the Eagles in the break between mandatory minicamp and when training camp actually begins, it's a budding story that we'll keep an eye on for how the organization is setting up this year for their franchise quarterback. The Phillies shut out the Marlins 7-0 to take a win in their series opener last night. Zach Wheeler 6 scoreless, striking out 9 in his start. Gabriel Rincones Jr. hit his first career home run, also his first career hit. He and JT Realmuto both went yard to help lead the offense. It wasn't all good news for the Phillies. Trey Turner exited last night's game after getting hit by a pitch on his right wrist. X-rays after the game were negative. It's a right wrist contusion for Turner. Game 2 is tonight at 6:40 p.m. Jesus Luzardo on the mound facing off against Tyler Phillips. We'll see if the Phils can find a way to win that series. This update is brought to you by our friends over at Modelo. Join Sean Brace Saturday, June 20th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Brooklyn Bowl in Fishtown for a Modelo match night. Enjoy cold Modelo draft, soccer giveaways, and all the match day action. Details at 975thefanatic.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
There is no reason to panic about the Jalen Carter contract situation. And lo and behold, John Kincade this morning did exactly what I thought he would.
Price is wrong.
Went on this morning, Bill's 100% wrong. We need to be concerned. If they don't get a contract in place in 6 weeks, literally, he said 6 weeks 4 times, in 6 weeks by training camp, Jalen Carter might hold in. He might show up and not participate. He might this, he might that, he might this. Guess what? I could die walking out of here.
I got a question.
That could happen too in the next 6 weeks. But I don't want people to panic, Ricky Bo. There is still 6 weeks to go. Yes, they are in negotiations with Jalen Carter. I was told by the Philadelphia Eagles they fully expect to get the contract done. And under the current NFLPA agreement, you can't hold out. We saw what happened to Hassan Reddick. You could go back to what happened with Le'Veon Bell. Jalen Carter's under contract for 2 more years. He's got this year. He's got next year under the 5th-year option. Yes, would you like them to get this deal done sooner rather than later? Of course you would. But on June 10th and now June 11th, to be trying to get all-out panic about this situation is absurd.
The Eagles have a culture. And it's really weird, though, what surprises me. And I go back to the first segment and you sort of saying to me, I don't care about all that stuff with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo and everything. You don't value it. I do. I so value the mentality of having players that want to be football players over celebrities first. There is zero question in my mind, zero, that Jackson Dart loves being a celebrity and is enjoying being a celebrity. And to me, I think that's great for Eagles fans. I think it's awesome because he hasn't accomplished a damn thing, and he's loving being a celebrity. Scatterbo cannot help himself but to be out and about being a celebrity, being spotted. Where has he been? What's he doing? What's he been? I love it. Let them be living that life. Where can we be? Where can we walk a red carpet? Where can we be seen? I will take life with Jalen Hurts, boring-ass Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley, who literally are as boring as white milk and saltine crackers. And I will I'll take it all day long because I think you win with players like that.
Do we believe what he's doing right now? What do you think?
That's a rough question, Ricky.
Well, it's a loaded one, of course.
It is. The jury for me is still so out. I mean, the past week offered some reason to think it's still in there. Did we think that before? I don't know anybody who did. On the other hand, even if you look at this past week, it's a 241 batting average with 0 walks over the last 8 games. But there's 3 homers and a double in there. And I think within that, there's some signs this might not be the disaster than people thought it was. And like the reason to think that is his swing now is just totally different than it was in spring training and even what it was a few weeks ago. He's moved back in the box. He's opened up more than we've ever seen him. He's not pointing that bat at the pitcher anymore, which made his setup so long, so slow. I just don't know what it means yet. I keep thinking back to that 2023 postseason. I'm sure you guys remember it well. That dude homered 5 games in a row in the LCS and World Series. But since the second half of that next season, 2024, I can only find 2 other weeks like this one where he even hit 3 bombs in a week. So, let's see what the next week looks like. I would just say I still think he's going to get a lot of runs.
Their wonderful faces. Check out youtube.com/975 The Fanatic Philadelphia. More of Kincade and Salciunas coming your way now.
7 a.m. hours brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we get your reaction to the Joe Santoliquito article, Joe Santoliquito interview, who just joined us last segment. You can go back and watch it on YouTube. You can see it on 975thefanatic.com. We appreciate Joe coming on, and we'll play clips for it. Amy Fadul comes in studio today at 8 o'clock, so Tuesdays with Amy from 8 to 10 with us. But real quick, before we continue this Hurts discussion, we were going to get to it in the 6 o'clock hour. It was just busy. We have the first results or the first returns of the All-Star voting for Major League Baseball, both National League and American League. We have the leaders in the clubhouse. And how about it?
I am absolutely floored.
Brandon Marsh is a top 3 vote getter as of right now in the National League, man. It's amazing because I do think those 3 straight home runs, 3 straight games with home runs helped, because a lot of it is I don't know who these players are. Let me look at the stats, and they might see the batting average, but if they don't see the home run numbers, they'll be like, average means nothing these days. I just like flip and blip and all those things. Brandon Marsh, the fact that those 3 home runs happened probably helped his cause a lot. Brandon Marsh, top 3 vote getter in the National League for the outfield. As of right now, a starter.
Can't believe he's not one.
I can't believe that it has gone that way, and I'm hoping it stays in that direction. That is excellent.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
And it's very well deserved. I mean, the guy's been consistent all season long. There hasn't been a lull, at all. There, maybe like a 2 or 3 game lull where he only had like 1 hit in each game as opposed to 2 or 3. The guy's been consistent all season and going back to last May, right? Like this has been going on since May of 2025. The way he's been playing baseball. So congratulations to Brandon Marsh. It's not over yet.
2 more hits last night. Keep voting. 5 times a day is the limit. You better be doing it, Phillies fans.
Damn right. I will say, though, what the hell are we doing having Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm both second for their respective positions?
I don't know what that is.
So Brandon Marsh, it's funny. I can celebrate going, wow, the voters are recognizing the real deserving all-stars.
Okay.
And then I see that Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm, if it were to end today, second means you made the all-star team. Bryson Stott's not an all-star.
No.
Alec Boehm's not an all-star.
That would be horrendous.
That would be
horrendous.
That'd be crazy. It would be criminal. And unfortunately, the guys that are behind them are small market people.
It would be horrendous if Bryson Stott was an all-star.
Yeah.
It would be horrendous.
It would kind of be spitting in the face of the
It would be a joke.
The all-star game.
It would be a joke.
It's, he's been playing better this year than in previous years.
That would be
that doesn't mean he's an all-star.
It would be a mockery of the.
Yeah.
It would be a mockery of it. Let's hope not.
And Alec Boehm was like the worst player in baseball for like 2 months. He can't.
And again, it's why I hate. It's why I hate fan.
Yeah. But you're pro Brandon Marsh being voted.
Yeah, but he deserves it.
Right.
He absolutely deserves it. There's a difference.
Yeah, one of those guys is hitting 324. The other two, Boehm 219, Stott 230.
I'm just hoping
There's a little
that's
bit
not
of a
the
difference.
Yeah, and I don't really care about like the WAR stat, but Bryson Stott is a -0.1. So like I feel like that's not good. I feel like that can't make you an all-star if you are technically a negative player. By the way, Alec Boehm is a -0.6. I don't think you should be an all-star.
I think you're being highly critical.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to use the fan base thing. If they just decide, if they love somebody, they're just going to go,
Alec Boehm's on base percentage is below 300. So is Bryson Stott's. Below 300.
Yeah, but is that there's, but he's young.
Yeah.
No, they're not young.
Trey Turner's 4th, right, for shortstops?
He's terrible.
Hey, we might go 3 out of 3 on the garage mural for All-Stars this year.
You're right.
Please stop.
And
You're
you were
right.
making fun of
For
it.
all the wrong reasons. But congratulations to Brandon Marsh. And look, if Stott and Boehm make it, I tip my cap to you. I don't agree with the voting process. All right, what do we have on the Davis Honda text line? Feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington.
We have plenty of people checking on the Jalen Hurts conversation. This texter says, I always look at it this way. You can't hate on Jalen Hurts. In the last 20 years, when you look at top 5 quarterbacks, I think only 3 have won Super Bowls. Every year we go into the season talking about the top 5 quarterbacks, and for some reason, they're knocked out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's amazing, right? That's why I will always go back to the tweet from the guy in D.C. I forget his name every single time, and I apologize.
Grant? Is it Grant? Was it? I can't remember who.
Your guess is as good as mine. If it is Grant put out the tweet.
As far as he had the long explanation for his kid.
Yeah, his kid asked him, is Jalen Hurts good? And it took him 15 minutes to answer the question.
The thing is, if you have to answer your kid in 15 minutes, is Jalen Hurts good? Then that's stupid.
Yeah.
It's the idea is Jalen Hurts. If you say to me, is Jalen Hurts a top 5 quarterback? I go, no.
Yeah, I say no.
No, and I don't even hesitate. I just go, I do a Derek Gunn.
Right.
When
no.
That's one of the things I love about Derek Gunn is that his answers are like.
Well, I also think a lot of people struggle with, if I ask the question, all right, and this is not what we're doing here, all right, but if I ask the question, is Jalen Hurts your number one reason of your mindset that the Eagles are winning?
No.
I don't think
No, he's not. But then again, I don't.
Right.
I don't.
Exactly. Like they win the Super Bowl. We shouldn't have that conversation.
When the Eagles went to the Super Bowl in 2005, Donovan McNabb was not the number one.
Correct.
It's not a rip. It's not and Donovan McNabb, you and I are both in the same boat, is my favorite Eagles quarterback of all time.
The defense was ridiculous. And, oh, by the way, the front office realized a wide receiver with talent would be nice to have.
He would be my least favorite Uber driver.
Yeah,
but he would be my most favorite Eagles quarterback of all time. No question.
Yeah, you don't want him driving you.
No, but I would love him to, I just, Donovan McNabb to me, and by the way, it frustrated me the same way with Donovan McNabb.
Yeah.
Because I have friends, I have family who would watch a Donovan McNabb game. And, Donovan was great for the worm burners.
Yeah.
He was good for, like, the throw at the feet, which, by the way, I think many, many times was by design.
Sure. You don't want to throw into traffic and it gets picked off.
And it'd be like, look at that throw. It's terrible. And I'm like, do you have any nuance to you as a fan?
Yeah, but we do this. Like, Ryan Howard is still not.
I don't think he ever got the love.
Maybe now. But during his career?
Now he does.
Oh, my God. The amount of crap you would hear about Ryan. Oh, he strikes out too much.
All I can tell you, too, is that when you two hear the name Ron Jaworski, you think of Jaws.
Yeah, I think of golf.
You think of golf. You think of beloved Jaws. He's a beloved figure.
I think of the Philadelphia Soul.
When I tell you that Jaws was so maligned in this town, and if I think of the nasty things that my father would say about Jaws on a Sunday afternoon, I'm embarrassed. I apologized to Jaws for it. My dad was dead. He never even knew my dad. I apologized to Jaws for it.
As he should have.
I said, geez, the things I heard about you in my house, I know you never did the things that they said. I know you didn't. It's great.
I always like to do this, the Ryan Howard struck out too much. You know that Kyle Schwarber strikes out the same rate.
Yeah.
And we love Kyle Schwarber.
Well,
right? Like, we love Kyle Schwarber. What?
I think there are fans who are inclined to be more. I'll flat out say it. I think there are fans who are more inclined to like what they like, and to be critical of what they think. And I believe that 100%.
Sure. Yes.
And I think that I think that there are guys that are I think that Cooper DeJean. This is very loved.
No, see, the point
He's
I'm getting at
athletic.
is how baseball has changed.
I think that there is going to be.
You go, you struck out 200 times, whatever. You hit 50 bombs.
And by the way, let's just say Ryan Howard was at the back end of that era of Philly sports fans.
I got you.
I don't believe it's there. I don't believe it's there as much now.
Yeah.
Not nearly there as much now.
Yeah.
But Ryan Howard played at the back end of that.
Yeah.
He was never and Jimmy Rollins. They were never going to be the fact that people look at Chase.
Yeah, I was about to say, how many dogs do you know named Chase? How many dogs do you know named Ryan or Jimmy?
Above Rollins, Jimmy Rollins was the greatest player of that era.
Yes, I agree.
Period. And Chase and what Ryan Howard did over a 5-year period might have been the best 5-year period of any Philly of any era.
I would say he was arguably the most feared hitter in baseball at the time.
And
Pujols, right?
But it might be the best 5-year period of any Philly of any era put together. Maybe Steve Carlton has a 5-year era like that. But I believe that Chase is always going to be the
man.
Chase is the man.
He's
Yes.
the man. All right, what else you got on the text? I'll give us one more text.
All right, we also have a check-in here. Interesting one from Mike in Turnersville who says, Hurts' run in Philly is starting to sound a lot like one of his comps, Russell Wilson. Teammates whisper about him, front office concerns, etc., eventually led to divorce in Seattle.
Bro, Jalen Hurts has been compared to Russell Wilson since just his ability to play football. And it's crazy that texter says that because it does feel that way. Like, and all right, I'm going to say something coming up next.
Okay.
I'm not speaking for anyone.
No. Let's do it, though. It has to be talked about.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
I'll say something coming up next, and then we have today's headlines of Connor Thomas. See how I get myself in trouble this time here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Got to tell you that it's so great to have a Bradford white water heater in your house because when you have a Bradford white water heater, you know you can depend on it. You know you're going to have a hot shower when you need it. You know you're going to be able to run your laundry. You know you're going to be able to have the dishwasher, get those plates clean. I can tell you this, that a Bradford white water heater, they are reliable. They're going to give you top performance year after year because people around here understand what people expect. And that's why Bradford White, a local company, understands what you demand. And plumbing professionals, they know it too. That's why you don't go into a big box store and go grab a Bradford White water heater off the shelf. You call your plumbing professional and you set up an appointment and they will bring a Bradford white water heater to you that fits the needs that you want. You want a traditional model, 25, 50, 75 gallon for your home or for your business? They can do that. But if you'd like one of their new Infinity tankless or Aerotherm hybrid heat pump models, they can do that too. They take up a lot less space. They're super efficient. And they're going to save you money in the long run too and give you all the hot water you need whenever on demand. Visit BradfordWhite.com to learn more and find that plumbing professional near you to bring it to you because how you heat your water, it does matter. Choose my friends at Bradford White.
Bill Colarulo.
I mean, there's no one literally to replace him out there. There's no star right-handed hitting right fielder they can go trade for.
So let's do that. Now, Andrew Salciunas has the day off today. It is not because of a clip that went viral from our show last week about Jalen Hurts. He's got regular vacation, but he was getting ripped because he said his number one question for the Eagles this year is about Jalen Hurts' performance at the quarterback position with the change in offense, Sean Mannion now taking over. What is your evaluation of that? Is that your number one question?
My number one question for this team this year would be if the offensive line can stay healthy and hold up. And it's not a very sexy question, right? Like, if the offensive line isn't healthy, we can't get Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson back to health. I don't care what plays Sean Mannion's calling. They're not going to have much of a chance. The offensive line has to be better. It has to be healthier. They've been the foundation of that team for so long. They've been responsible for so much success. We're talking about elite, all-time Eagle talents. So I don't say this in a critical way, but I say it in a way in which the offensive line has had to play through some injuries, and it's aging. And are they going to hold up and hold together? If they do, it's going to be a great season. If they don't, it's not. To me, that's where it starts.
5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
All right, it's 7:48. I'm going to say this carefully because I'm not saying that this is me saying.
Okay, say it.
But we're all human, right? Like, we all have a moment where, I mean, it's you being the great churchgoer that you are. Like,
I wouldn't say great,
but
I am diligent.
There's a reason why we have confession, and sometimes we are upset when other people are. Tell me what the thou shall not is. Which one of the power rankings they are. When somebody's getting recognized and you're going, well, where's my recognition?
Sure.
Like, I think that is technically a sin, right? Envy. Thank you. There you go, Connor.
Well, it's not it's your cup. That's not really one of the 10.
All right, we're not having that deep gospel discussion.
But it's
the point I'm trying to get to is the texter brought up the Russell Wilson comp. I would imagine there is at least one. I'm not saying majority. There must have been at least one player on that Eagles defense when the Eagles won the Super Bowl that said, wait, he won MVP?
I thought the Eagles defense as a whole should have won MVP, and I said so the next morning.
There's a lot of people that said Josh Sweat should have won MVP.
No, as a whole, I think the Eagles' collective defense won that Super Bowl.
Sure. And when Jalen Hurts is, I'm going to Disney World, and he's the face. And
but that's what the NFL does.
Correct.
And by the way, it's media members that voted. So it's members of the press that voted.
Yeah.
So it's like don't blame Jalen Hurts for it. Don't rip him for it.
No, I'm not blaming.
I know you're not.
Right, but I wonder if there was at least one player because, again,
I guarantee
the texter brought up Russell Wilson. And what was the Seahawks' defense's issue?
No.
That Russ got the recognition.
Yeah, but there's a
big
big
difference. Problem with him as a person.
That him as a person was bad. He was not on the he did not have his remember when he did not have his offensive lineman's phone numbers?
Right. Yeah, that's weird. But like Russ
he did not have his
Russ was the Seahawks. It's Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. Whereas Richard Sherman was like, well, no. It was the Seattle Seahawks. It was the defense in the Seattle Seahawks, not Russell Wilson in the Seahawks.
He did not have his offensive lineman's phone number.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Like, how do you not have, like,
Thanks for not letting me die.
I will tell you this, and I'm not speaking out of turn, that Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens and Jordan Mailata have great affection for Jalen Hurts.
Absolutely.
So, but you have a guy like Russell Wilson's a goofball.
Yeah.
He's a goofball.
Well, he's Mr. Unlimited.
And by the way, he's in for himself.
Yeah.
He's all about himself.
Unlimited. All right.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas. Does he say anything on CBS?
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
Mark my words, there is a CBS country let's ride. Or
I'm
something.
sure
They will make fun of him for it.
I'm sure there will be. And we'll talk about it in today's headlines when they do, which is, as always, brought to you by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Believe it or not, gentlemen, there is more going on in the world than just Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, including this little thing called the World Cup. Now, if you missed it yesterday, one of the most surprising results in recent memory in international soccer, Spain taking on Cape Verde, ending in a 0-0 draw.
It's over. It is a win in every possible way for Cape Verde in their first ever World Cup game. A 0-0 draw with the European champion Spain.
That audio courtesy of Fox. Now, if you need to know just how big of a result that was for Cape Verde, well, one, Spain was one of the pre-tournament favorites to win it.
Oh, yeah.
That was Cape Verde's first ever World Cup game.
Oh, wow, really?
They had a 40-year-old goalkeeper in net.
They didn't have a book on him.
Yeah, sure. The book is Kick It Past the Guy. Joseph Diaz is his name. He gained over 2 million followers on social media after the game last night. To go further, because when these lower countries, like they have a population of just over 500,000. When these smaller countries find a way to make noise, you learn all these cool stories about the team. Their center back was recruited to the team via a LinkedIn message.
No way.
That he didn't answer for over a year because he thought it was spam. They're finding guys off the street.
Yeah, you know how they're like back in the day there was a wartime draft? Their draft is for soccer. They're saying, all right, so-and-so, you're on the team.
Find anybody. I got a guy who knows a cousin who plays soccer, and they're drawing with Spain.
What's
It's
crazy
insane.
is...
See, that's incredible.
I had to look it up. I'm not Mr. Footy over here. I looked it up because I was curious. All right, did they
Well, the
just play...
fact that you say footy
Did they just play keep away the whole time? No, Spain had 23 shots on net, 8 shots on target because there's differences.
Well, I mean, seriously. Shots on net and shots on target is a ridiculous.
But it's not like
it's ridiculous.
It's not like the Cape just played keep away the whole time and just let 90 minutes go off the clock.
They did only have 6 shots in the game.
A shot on goal should be it's a goal if the goaltender doesn't stop it.
Yes.
That is what it should be.
This is how I'm learning about soccer. Do you know that there is a pass accuracy stat?
Yes, of course.
Would Jalen Hurts be elite at that?
Yes, he would.
Spain's pass...
been one of the best passers out of the pocket in the NFL.
Spain's pass accuracy yesterday was 92%. That's pretty freaking good, man.
Yeah, well, their goal accuracy was 0%.
Right.
So shout out to Cape Verde, population just over 500,000. What a moment for them. Now, I need to know if this one's fair or foul. So USA fans have been having a lot of fun with their country and this continent hosting the World Cup. And they've also been taking some shots at some of our rivals, including the English team. So there was a social media user, it was on TikTok and on X, Halson KS, who decided that he wanted to get some autographs from the English team as they were finishing up their training. He had a folder full of papers. Those papers happened to be copies of the Declaration of Independence. He got a bunch of the English players to unknowingly sign copies of the Declaration of Independence.
I think that's awesome.
That's a
That's
great move.
next level.
It's such a harmless, funny,
that's
funny,
great, harmless. Was there anybody offended by it?
I don't believe so. Maybe
I'm sure
over
somebody
in,
would be offended.
the United Kingdom, but
that's
not here.
awesome.
And that's why we're back-to-back World War champs, David.
Right, baby.
Exactly.
They were on our side, too.
And remember, the other countries that hate us, they'd be speaking German.
Yeah, but the Knicks fans, I think, could take a little notice on what is fun to do and what is not too fun to do. Here's one more thing that's, well, kind of both. PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, has had one of the strangest years so far in recent baseball history with everything going on with him. And it got even weirder last night.
Did he yell at another woman on a bachelorette party?
No, it was actually very positive for him.
Oh,
He hit for the cycle. funny enough, the way he needed to end it, you don't see it very often. He only needed a single. So he got the single.
That's
he
crazy.
hits for the cycle. Marquee Sports Network had the TV broadcast, and they were celebrating him completing the cycle. And here's what immediately happened.
And we're living in it.
Oh, no.
He
got
hits for
picked
the
off?
cycle and got picked off first base.
That's awesome.
So he's not paying attention.
No, he was not paying attention at all.
He's got the wildest year
I
in
know, by
baseball
the way, they
going
won
on right
5-4, so it's not like they were up
No.
like 10-0.
It was 2-1 at that point.
Oh,
when
my
they
Did
were
you,
leading.
they won on a walk-off walk. Did
what
you?
a day.
By the way, did you see why Pete Crow Armstrong didn't get in trouble further about that bachelorette
Well,
party?
because she was
incident?
talking.
No, did you see
mad
the people
stuff.
in the people in the section supplied the audio?
Oh, did they really have what she was saying?
And we're like, I don't. You're not supposed to engage.
Yeah. No, you're not.
But those women at that bachelorette party, they were filthy. They were filthy.
Couple of seltzers throughout the course of the day.
They were filthy.
Yeah, the tailgate.
Yeah, he's just turned into the lightning rod of all lightning
Girl
rods.
Summer.
Oh, my God.
It's
Yeah.
wild the year he's. And we're not even to the All-Star break. This guy's had 14 unbelievable
Meanwhile,
stories.
he could be a top 10 play guy candidate like every night. The
Unbelievable.
diving catches that guy makes, it's unbelievable. All right, coming up next, MBD wants to know,
Okay.
what slander do I have in store for you in the 8 o'clock hour? Find out next.
Stick around.
Also, Amy Fadul.
Amy Fadul joins us in studio.
Well, that would be slander if she wasn't with us.
If you missed it earlier, Joe Santoliquito joined us to talk about the article that he wrote yesterday. We'll go through some of the article. You'll hear the man himself and what could be in store when it comes to the #1 storyline of the Philadelphia Eagles, the quarterback. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A shaky situation with Hurts. I'm Connor Thomas, and that popped on the radar yesterday for Eagles fans as Joe Santoliquito posted an article with Bleeding Green Nation, pointing to some uncertainty for the future of Jalen Hurts here in Philadelphia. He joined us earlier today, and he talked about the genesis of the issues that Hurts' camp may have with the Eagles right now.
These are people close to jail, and their venom seemed to be pointed at the team. I looked all over the place. There was nothing after those stories were written in defense of Hurts. Like, no one came out to say anything about this guy, in defense of this guy. Whether it be players, whether it be something from the team itself, no one.
As we have about 6 weeks until training camp gets going, there will be plenty of time to keep an eye on that storyline. The Phillies beat the Marlins 7-0 last night. Shutout victory. Zach Wheeler, 6 scoreless in his start, struck out 9. Gabriel Rincones Jr. hit his first career home run in the game, also his first career Major League hit. He and JT Realmuto both went yard to help lead the offense. It wasn't all good news for the Phillies. Trey Turner exited the game after getting hit by a pitch on his right wrist. X-rays were negative. It's a right wrist contusion for Turner. Game 2 is tonight at 6:40 p.m. Jesus Luzardo faces off against Tyler Phillips. This update is brought to you by the Macomb Group. The Macomb Group supports contractors with one of the largest PVF inventories, from pipe, valve, and fittings to trusted brands. Count on the Macomb Group to help you stay on schedule. Visit MacomGroup.com today. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
Is the plan to keep Joel, and can you say with 100% certainty that Joel Embiid is back for 2026?
Yeah, Joel's ours right now. I've had great conversations with him. We FaceTimed. I'm actually going to see him in a couple days to kind of sit down in person with him. But, you know, we just got to get Joel on the court. You know, obviously when he plays, we're really good. He's still a dominant force. I mean, he can get 25 in his sleep. And I know he's self-motivated. You know, obviously he doesn't like the questions about him not being available, but he wants to play. He wants to be on the court. And, you know, that's on me. That's on our whole staff and Nick and the whole building to get him to his best self.
There is no reason to panic about the Jalen Carter contract situation. And lo and behold, John Kincade this morning did exactly what I thought he would.
Price is wrong.
Went on this morning. Bill's 100% wrong. We need to be concerned. If they don't get a contract in place in 6 weeks, literally, he said 6 weeks 4 times. In 6 weeks by training camp, Jalen Carter might hold in. He might show up and not participate. He might this, he might that, he might this. Guess what? I could die walking out of here.
I got a question.
That could happen too in the next 6 weeks. But I don't want people to
Kincade and Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
It is 8 a.m. on this Tuesday morning. You know what that means. More Jalen Hurts slander. But this time led by the great Amy Fadul. Hi, Amy. Good morning.
Absolutely. It's funny. I was getting clothes out for my 5-year-old who likes to dress himself. And I laid it out, and I give him choices or whatever. And there's like one of those caricature type shirts. It's a Jalen Hurts shirt, so it's a caricature shirt. And he's just like, "Oh, Jalen." I was like, "You rep that shirt.
Good
buddy.
timing.
You rep that shirt.
Good timing,
buddy."
So, article drops yesterday from Joe Santoliquito, who, again, for the conversation purposes, is always right. The Carson Wentz story.
His track record is very, very good.
He got that man. I mean, literally, his neighbor's houses got vandalized. People were so upset with the story. They got the wrong house.
I remember I talked to him like right after that, and he was like, "This is wild." I'm like, "Yeah, it's like dystopia out here."
They got the wrong house, and he was right. There was a lot of people not believing that A.J. Brown requested a trade in Week 4, and man, did that end up coming out to be completely accurate. And now this story, where the title of the story is that Philadelphia better watch itself or it will lose another superstar. Now, what's amazing is we can talk all we want about fan base and all that stuff. To me, the thing that I'm going to get the most out of it is this is also directed at the organization. And Amy, I put a plea out there to Jalen. I know Jalen's a big listener of the show. It's why he quotes me every time all those sayings that he has in his press conferences.
The main thing.
He gets that from me.
No, he walks around Dick's Sporting Goods.
My plea to Jalen is ignore the fan base as much as possible. All right, ignore them. But if he's got a issue or his camp has an issue with the organization, this is a story. And when I read it yesterday and John told us that Joe was coming on at 7 o'clock, I was like, all right, well, we know what we're talking about tomorrow. What were some of your takeaways? We'll play some clips from Joe, who joined us at 7 o'clock. But what were some of your takeaways when you read the article? Because it's not like long. It's just impactful, the amount of stuff that's in.
Well, there's just a lot of information, right? You're just like, you kind of felt like I don't want to take a break from it because I felt like I wanted to digest it and then kind of like, all right, now let's just go back to, and I kind of reread it a couple different times, stopping and starting and rereading. The takeaway is the first thing I thought about you guys is like, wow, Joe rarely misses.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. And it's an interesting timing. So you just wonder, why now? Obviously, people save stories for different reasons. It is a dead period. There's no Eagles that are coming back on the field for 6 more weeks. We know that. The gentleman that's at the crux of a lot of problems, if you want to call them that, with Jalen Hurts is now in Boston. So that's another interesting timing-wise. So to me, that's the first thing I always look at is like, why is the story coming out right now? And I think those are two of the overriding things of like, we need something to consume. We can't talk to Jalen about it right now, which is probably better. You can kind of like let it digest a little bit.
Especially when it's from his camp.
I think,
right? Like it's not reactionary.
It's when are people too willing to share the information of we're not getting the contract extension chatter discussion that we want, so this is a tactic we can use.
So you do always have to look at, anytime I read articles, good, bad, about players or organizations, you always have to look at the angle. Like, who is this serving?
Well, look at the A.J. Brown stuff. Like, everybody waited till he got traded because what if he's not traded? We don't want to lose this guy that we can talk to in the locker room and get some stuff out of. So I'm going to sit on this, and I'm going to write a 500-word story in 5 minutes.
Exactly. It's like free,
Told you. I
it's
knew
like
it was
free
coming out.
agency.
I know.
12:01. All the contracts are done. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Got that
wow,
done
they,
in 60
man,
seconds.
those are some good lawyers.
But I also, who does the story serve, right? All the A.J. Brown trade rumor stories that came out during the season, they served one person, and that's A.J. Brown.
Correct.
So that's where you also
And
have
he
to look
loved
at
it.
it. Of course.
He loved being
that's
the center
idea.
of attention.
So your point, like, of them putting this out there, of like, we need to have a little bit more juice on our side of, we want a contract. We want a contract extension. I know it's not something that usually happens. We already did that. Once the season starts, the Eagles are reticent to even discuss contract extensions. That's not something Howie Roseman does. It's like it's like all of a sudden the season starts, we shelve all that stuff.
By the
We
way, all
focus
the
on
attention's
season.
on Jalen's, the other Jalen's contract right
Carter,
now.
exactly.
All the attention is on Jalen Carter's contract, and Jalen Hurts' camp might be like, whoa, where's
ours?
Where's mine?
And then you also see what Patrick Mahomes just did. And I think that's another overriding thing. Not that you're going to get anywhere close to that. That's $500 million.
But for a while, we said nobody would pass Dak.
$1 billion.
And that didn't take long. Like, Dak got passed. Now, he might not pass Dak,
Right.
but
Well,
maybe
Dak's
he gets...
in a
that
different
was-
situation.
Right, but Jalen might get like $59.5 million now because
Well, now
of all
that
this.
64, no, he's going to get 60.
Well.
Because of 64 from Mahomes, Jalen's getting 6. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's getting 60.
That seems really high for me.
Man,
Well,
I'm
if the
telling you,
market's the market.
Wait a minute, depends.
The market's the market for
does-
everybody not named Patrick Mahomes.
Does Lamar sign first? If Lamar signs first, I guarantee
Yes.
he gets
Now,
60.
if Lamar signs first, then,
I guarantee he gets 60.
then they
because-
won't be able to do it.
Because Lamar's
unless he
gonna get
does.
it.
Yeah. Which also I wouldn't. There's one, I think I was on here the day after the Mahomes. I was like, there's 2 people I would give that contract to, and one of them's Patrick Mahomes. The other one is a guy up in Buffalo.
Right.
That's the only people. For me, that's me personally.
Right, and I agree that, and that's why
It's a really big contract.
here
It's a
we
big
here we
contract.
go again back to March. I think it was March 15th when we had D Gunn on. So we're literally almost 3 months to the day.
On the
removed.
Ides of March, we had him on, eh?
So Derek Gunn came on in March. We've referenced it numerous times because this story doesn't seem to be going away, which is why 2 weeks ago when I gave you my 5 storylines going into into the season that only 2026 will answer, it's why Hurts was number 1, because it's the quarterback of the city of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course it's going to be the number 1 story. Derek Gunn tells us that they might be setting up a quiet prove-it year. And numerous reporters have not refuted that, and now Joe Sanliquito.
Joe's not refuting it.
He
Joe's
hit us over the head with it.
He's reinforcing that.
So, Amy, one of our questions that we have for everybody today at 610-632-0975 is like, are you okay with this? Are you Team Eagles, Team Jalen? Because the Jalen Hurts relationship is such a strange one because, as John has pointed out numerous times, in any other city, the Super Bowl winning quarterback, that should be enough. But it's not here. Now, I will say 9 years ago it was, or 8 years ago it was, 2018. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they could have lost every game the next year, and the majority of the city
Because
wouldn't
we were
have
just
cared.
so excited.
It's different this time. Is it because we want more? Is it because we look at this roster and we go, we should have more?
Is it
when we say we should have more? Do we start to question why we don't have more? Are we pointing fingers at certain people?
Do people feel a certain way about quarterbacks differently about Nick Foles than they do Jalen Hurts?
I don't know that it's that. I think it's.
No, I think that magical story is more.
I think the magical story does,
Yeah,
but
I mean-
people were willing to say, get rid of Carson Wentz, keep Nick Foles.
Yeah, of course people were. Yeah.
And I mean, it's you just, I don't know.
There's something about the magic that
The
people
magically, they feel that there's something.
But it's a lot that they look around and say, if you want to be a winning organization, you have to have the continuity, right? Look at
Yeah.
the teams that have created the dynasties. The Chiefs had that dynasty that was brewing there. We ruined it, which is great.
Isn't that awesome?
But here's the deal, and again, just don't freak out.
We're going to.
People will say that Patrick Mahomes is the reason why they are a dynasty. There are a lot of people.
He is the reason.
I mean, he's a large part of it.
I don't know how
Him
many
and Big Red.
I don't know
Yeah,
how many
it's a
people
great
would
tandem.
say that Jalen Hurts is the reason
So I think
for
that's-
this success.
And I think
So I
that's,
think that's why.
that's fair.
And I think that's why we have these.
But I think that's why you have that's why you have the conversation because
I think that's why the
you
organization
look at him and
has
say,
it.
"Wow, he's a really good quarterback
but-
when he's on."
But here's what
is he an elite, like, game changer? Like, you walk into a game. You walked into a game with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, and you thought, uh-oh. I don't know that people think that with Jalen Hurts. Rightly or wrongly, I don't know that people think that.
Here's what I say, though, to these people, and it's the same thing I say about the Jeffrey Lurie obsession, the Howie Roseman obsession. They want to make this organization more like the Rams, more like the Packers, more like the franchises that they've achieved much more than. And then it's like, okay, Patrick Mahomes. They've seen their quarterback outplay Patrick Mahomes the last 4 times they've played head-to-head. Jalen Hurts has been the better quarterback the last 4 times Mahomes and Hurts have shared a field. Hurts has had the better game at quarterback. And they're like, but it's like, well, you want to be more like Mahomes.
You wouldn't say he's better than Mahomes, though.
No, but the thing is, though, is that still, though, it just shows, though, it's a lack of respect. It's a lack of, it's ignorance to me.
Well, it's the same.
Like, why do we want to be more like everybody else instead of going, you know what, we do have it really damn good here. This is amazing.
All right, why do they have it really damn good here? What's your number one reason?
I think it's a great overall, the way all the interlocking pieces work together, it's beautiful.
Right. And you're going to have to divvy up the money to all these interlocking pieces. And they may be saying, hey, it's not that we don't believe in Jalen. It's $60 million is a lot of money.
Oh, I get you. I get you. And by the way, and I don't disagree with that sentiment.
And the defense needs a lot of money. We talk about this defense, like you talk about being spoiled. We are so spoiled that I can just say, you know what? The offense can struggle the first 4 weeks, and I still think they're 3-1 because their defense is that freaking good. And so maybe the organization's going, all right, look, we believe in Jalen. He just needs to show it that he can handle this offense because the passing offense has not been necessarily great the last 2 years because we got to pay all these guys on defense. And at some point, we're not paying A.J. Brown. Oh, wait, they're not. He's gone.
Well, and that's another thing as far as the prove-it year goes. A lot of the naysayers over the last couple of seasons have been like, well, of course he is a good quarterback. Look, he's throwing to.
Correct.
That has been like the overarching thing for 4 previous seasons because he had elite wide receivers, 2-1 wide receivers out there. And it was like, of course. And then for 1 year, he had the best running back in all of football.
He did.
So it was like, well, of course he's a good quarterback. What else did you want him to do? So that was like seen as like almost a slight against him. Like, he's a good quarterback, but is he a great quarterback?
But it shouldn't be because here's the deal. Like, there's a reason
it was a
why,
wrong sentiment.
There's a reason why we have Brady in a tier of his own because he was able to win with like anybody. Now, look, Gronk was freaking amazing.
He won with a Penn
year
State wide receiver. I mean, for God's sake.
Patrick Mahomes, he won with Tyreek Hill, but then he also won without Tyreek Hill. But those guys are in a class of their own. It's why Josh Allen's in a class of his own because he wins regular season games with Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir. The norm is what Hurts has around him. Look at what Joe Burrow has around him. Like, he's got all this talent.
He's got great wide receivers, but no defense.
The thing is, though, I'm going to say this, is that did you want Jordan Davis paid?
Yeah.
I did. It would be nice, yes.
Did people, people wanted to, and last year, Jordan Davis got a prove-it year.
Yes.
This year, and I was all for, and I'm a big Jordan Davis fan.
Yes, you are.
But I was all for Jordan Davis having a prove-it year because I felt he hadn't done enough in his conditioning and things like that to say, yeah, just rubber stamp it.
And playing every down.
Do you want Jalen Carter to get a contract this offseason?
I want him to get paid, yes.
Yes.
And I get where you're getting at.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why should Jalen Carter not have a prove-it year? Why in the world are we talking about a prove-it year for Jalen Hurts and not talking about a prove-it year for Jalen Carter?
I hear you.
We got a guy in Jalen Hurts who does every damn thing the organization wants him to do.
Because Jalen Carter doesn't play quarterback.
So you're willing to say, yeah, but we got a guy who shows up late. We got a guy who blows off a meeting. Mm-hmm. We got a guy who doesn't give it his all, takes plays off. We got a guy who has had some problems. But Jalen Hurts, it's a prove-it year.
Well, if Jalen spit on Dak, it's a different story.
Jalen Hurts has the maturity, quadruple the maturity that Jalen Carter's shown. And I am and anyone knows, I've been a huge supporter of Jalen Carter. But if you're going to tell me that this is a prove-it year for Jalen Hurts, you better sure as hell not tell me that this is, but you got to sign Jalen Carter. It better be a prove-it year for Jalen Carter because Jalen Carter has given you 4, 5 reasons why this should be a prove-it year for him.
And then somebody would be able to tell you that the defense was the main reason why they won the Super Bowl, and that defense was spearheaded by Jalen Carter.
What did he do? But what did he do last year? And why is a guy getting called out by his coordinator? Why is a guy getting called out for lack of effort, lack of conditioning?
You know why?
Lack of showing up for meetings.
You know why? Because Vic Fangio's not afraid to say it publicly.
No, so
which is my
everybody
favorite
else?
thing.
No, but our fans, but are fans willing to back that behavior and say, yeah. Well, we'll rubber stamp that lack of commitment, that lack of work ethic.
Because they see the raw talent.
I was going to say, that's at the end of the day.
That drives me crazy.
I'm not saying it's correct, but I think
it's a double standard.
At the end of the day, they see Jalen Hurts as a good quarterback. They see Jalen Carter as an elite top 2 player at his position.
And I sort of do too. I'm not going to go there yet because I've been very disappointed in his work ethic and behavior.
I'm with you. Like last week when I was on, you guys asked, like, what would you do with that contract? I'm like, is it just like absolutely without question? I was like, I couldn't give you 100%. I was like 99%.
Right.
Just because there is that back of the brain of like, I need you to show up every single day with the same work ethic that you did that one time. You know what I mean? And I'm not specifically saying one time.
Sure.
I'm just saying just in general. You see it. And he shows up and he talks about the commitment. Jordan Davis, to John's point, talked about the commitment of losing weight and being in shape and being an every down guy, not just every other down. And he proved it. He needed that year, and they were like, all right, you did it. Jalen Carter has yet to do that, but the way that he plays in the elite level that he is at a position that is now one of the best positions and most marketable and most, as far as this is what you need. Everybody needs this guy. You have to have a DT that does this, this, and this. That's what Jalen Carter is. So he's benefiting from the fact that is such a important position.
Especially in a Vic Fangio defense. And even when Vic's
position.
gone, they're going to try to stick with the Vic system and defensive tackle. It starts with the pressure there. All right, so Joe Santaliquito joined us at 7 o'clock this morning. You can go back and watch the entire thing on YouTube. You can see it on 97.5 The Fanatic. I'm sure Austin's going to post just the interview itself. But we have some clips for you. Here was Joe, sort of the genesis of the article. You know, why did this come out? And it's coming from the Hurts camp.
These are people close to Jalen. So I don't know, okay, if you want to interpret coming from Jalen himself, and their venom seemed to be pointed at the team. And their question was, why isn't anyone coming out and refuting some of this stuff? You know, and I thought they were constructive deep dives on Hurts this past offseason. But some of the folks that are close to Hurts were like, you know, where's the other side of it? What are the Eagles saying about this? What are they coming out and saying about this? Now, the Eagles are capital L-I-V-I-D at me, livid at me for not going to them about anything. And I'm like, well, wait a second here. I looked all over the place. There was nothing after those stories were written in defense of Hurts. I went looking again after, you know, maybe you're not looking hard enough. Well, you know what? Bring it to my attention what I may have missed. I'm looking, and I couldn't find anything. The issue here was, it still baffled me. Like, no one came out to say anything about this guy, in defense of this guy, whether it be players, whether it be something from the team itself, no one.
Now, what's fascinating, he talks about nobody coming to his defense, whereas 6 years ago? Yeah, January 2019, 7 years ago, 7.5 years ago. Man, time flies.
That's incredible.
Joe Santaliquito wrote the article about Carson Wentz, and Joe's house was, well, his neighbor's house was literally vandalized because they had the wrong address. I'm sure you feel great about that guy out there that did that. Here was Joe Santaliquito on, well, nobody came to his defense with this, but man, when I wrote that article in 2019, this happened.
Talking to people that are close to him, is the impression is this was aimed more so at the team. And when I brought up with one individual that I spoke to in reference to the story, you know, I wish they would have came out. I wish they would have said something, this, and this. And I brought up to them, hey, listen, I was here at ground zero. I was the guy that wrote it. When the thing came out on Wentz, and you guys all remember this, within an hour of that story going public, within an hour, you had major Pro Bowl players, and they were all down at the Pro Bowl, and at the assistance of Eagles media, hey, listen, guys, you got to come out and defend your guy here, Carson Wentz. There was nothing like that in reference to Jalen Hurts.
And I will tell you that is absolutely 100% fact.
Yeah.
They were told, players were texted, players were like informed, hey, support Carson on this. Come on, we need some voices. Speak up. Carson's getting attacked here. Speak up. it would have been real easy for people to be able to do that with this A.J. Brown story. Instead, what you got last year was Jeffrey Lurie cajoling him on the sidelines with Big Dom working the, let's give A.J. We love you, A.J.
Well, because
we'll take care of you,
they were
AJ.
trying to give him the freaking stop.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
he was also like,
I understand.
Because it was in the middle of a season. It was
Yeah.
like, we have a chance to win. Like, what are we doing?
You're catering to the jerk.
Yeah.
You
well,
cater
that's
to
easy.
instead of coming out and saying.
But that's easier, right? It's easier because look at the dynamic. Think about like dynamics in relationships or friendships, right? Sometimes you have that one friend that's like moody, and if you don't call him back or text him back, they get all salty about it. You have the one friend that's just a steady
Better not
Eddie.
be friends with him,
right?
He's bad.
Steady Eddie. I'm a bad texter sometimes.
Oh, I'm a horrible texter.
But steady Eddie, right? The guy's just always there, and through no fault of his own, you just are like, oh, well, he's fine.
Yeah.
You don't check on him as much. You don't need to check in.
That's a great point, Amy.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like, yes, they did cater to the guy that had the mood swings because, one, he was a really good receiver, and it's really important if you can get him on the field and get him connected back in.
Good point.
If you'd like to win. But it was not fair. It's not a fair thing to do. It's a life thing to do.
It could have been good that they took a little effort to make sure that Jalen got, the
and that's
public
why
support.
I hate those articles that dropped last season. And I'm not the biggest Jalen Hurts supporter in the world. I thought it was horrible that during the season it was – I said it to John earlier, Amy. It felt very much like people realizing what was happening, where the ship was going directly into the iceberg, and it was, let me get my life raft ready now. Let me start putting out these little feelers now so that I can still have a job next year.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like reading those articles.
Well, Kevin found his job in Miami.
Yeah.
He found his job.
Some may say Nick found his job still in Philadelphia. 610. All right, coming up next. We have more.
Oh, my gosh.
There's more on this
Like a
story
four-letter
to
word.
react to that we'll continue to. You'll hear more clips from Joe Santaliquito. We want to hear from you, 610-632-0975. But I have a question that we will try to answer next. What do you do? Because the Eagles can't just...
Amy works at NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Eagles can't just give him an apology contract. Like, they can't just be like,
No,
sorry, man, here you go. Here's this money.
There's $300 million more.
But you also can't just let this fester and continue. Like, they need to do something. But what is it? We'll try to figure that out next here on The Fanatic.
I know this is that my wife's got a big birthday coming up. So I know that Benari Jewelers is going to be where I'm going shopping. And I got to do it before I leave town because Benari Jewelers, I've had such a great time getting to know these people. And Benari Jewelers has the most amazing selection of jewelry, which has been great for me because it's been go-to for birthdays, for holidays, for anniversaries, and things like that. And if you're looking for a diamond, well, they're just the best because they really, really take the time. And I know when I'm shopping for jewelry, let's just say I'm not an expert. Let's just say that I want their expertise. And they take care of you when you walk in the door. You're going to look at the showroom and you're going to think, wow, this place is really, really gorgeous. I'm just not knowing what I'm doing here. They're going to take you through the process. You're going to find something perfect. And it's just a great experience every time you're in. Whether I am local or not, Benari Jewelers is a relationship I'm going to keep going. Check out Benari Jewelers. You're local, Exton or Newtown Square. Check them out at BenariJewelers.com on the web.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Questions for the quarterback? I'm Connor Thomas, and we got an interesting article from Joe Santaliquito in Bleeding Green Nation yesterday about Jalen Hurts, as the report has pointed to some uncertainty for the future of Hurts in Philadelphia, and some in the quarterbacks camp believe that the organization has not been handling the situation as well as they should have this offseason. Joe joined us earlier on the show to talk about it.
Jalen Hurts is a superstar. Just treat him better than you have right now. And from talking to people that are close to him, the impression is this was aimed more so at the team.
We'll keep an eye on that as the offseason continues. Hurts potentially looking at a contract extension, but the Eagles don't seem interested in doing that at this time. A lot to keep an eye on, and the Eagles aren't even to training camp yet. The Phils shut out the Marlins 7-0 to take a win in their series opener last night at the bank. Zach Wheeler went 6 scoreless, striking out 9 in his start. Gabriel Rincones Jr. hit his first career homer. He and JT Realmuto both went yard in the game. Not all good news for the Phillies, though. Trey Turner exited last night's game after being hit by a pitch on his right wrist. X-rays after the game were negative, so it's a right wrist contusion for Turner. Game 2 is tonight at 6:40 p.m. Jesus Luzardo faces Tyler Phillips. Amy Fadul in studio with us for the remainder of the show. This update is brought to you by the Make Home Group. The Make Home Group supports contractors with one of the largest PVF inventories from pipe valve and fittings to trusted brands. Count on the Make Home Group to help you stay on schedule. Visit MakeHomeGroup.com today. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Got something to say about Philly sports?
Text us on the Davis Honda text line at 610-632.
There is still 6 weeks to go. Yes, they are in negotiations with Jalen Carter. I was told by the Philadelphia Eagles they fully expect to get the contract done. And under the current NFLPA agreement, you can't hold out. We saw what happened to Hassan Reddick. You could go back to what happened with Le'Veon Bell. Jalen Carter's under contract for 2 more years. He's got this year. He's got next year under the 5th-year option. Yes, would you like them to get this deal done sooner rather than later? Of course you would. But on June 10th and now June 11th, to be trying to get all-out panic about this situation is absurd.
The Eagles have a culture, and it's really weird, though, what surprises me. And I go back to the first segment and you sort of saying to me, I don't care about all that stuff with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo and everything. You don't value it. I do. I so value the mentality of having players that want to be football players over celebrities first. There is zero question in my mind, zero, that Jackson Dart loves being a celebrity and is enjoying being a celebrity. And to me, I think that's great for Eagles fans. I think it's awesome because he hasn't accomplished a damn thing, and he's loving being a celebrity. Scatterbo cannot help himself but to be out and about being a celebrity, being spotted. Where has he been? What's he doing? What's he been? I love it. Let them be living that life. Where can we be? Where can we walk a red carpet? Where can we be seen? I will take life with Jalen Hurts, boring-ass Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley, who literally are as boring as white milk and saltine crackers. And I will I'll take it all day long because I think you win with players like that.
Do we believe what he's doing right now? What do you think?
That's a rough question, Ricky.
Well, it's a loaded one, of course.
It is. The jury for me is still so out. I mean, the past week offered some reason to think it's still in there. Did we think that before? I don't know anybody who did. On the other hand, even if you look at this past week, It's a 241 batting average with 0 walks over the last 8 games. But there's 3 homers and a double in there. And I think within that, there's some signs this might not be the disaster than people thought it was. And like the reason to think that is his swing now is just totally different than it was in spring training and even what it was a few weeks ago. He's moved back in the box. He's opened up more than we've ever seen him. He's not pointing that bat at the pitcher anymore, which made his setup so long, so slow. I just don't know what it means yet. I keep thinking back to that 2023 postseason. I'm sure you guys remember it well. That dude homered 5 games in a row in the LCS and World Series. But since the second half of that next season, 2024, I can only find 2 other weeks like this one where he even hit 3 bombs in a week. So, let's see what the next week looks like. I would just say I still think he's going to get a lot of runway. I mean, there's no one literally to replace him out there. There's no star right-handed hitting right fielder they can go trade for.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Yeah, I heard that promo. People go, how do I hear you guys? Well, that radio man just told you like 18 different ways where you can listen to the show either live or at some point later on down the road. Like how you can rewatch the show on YouTube. Just search Kincade Salciunas. It's a Tuesday with Amy Fadul in studio with us. All right, so what do the Eagles do now? Because they can't just be like, damn. Got us. You got us. Here you go, Jalen. Here's $60 million. Like they're not going to be like they're not going to give him an oh damn, here you go contract.
Yeah.
Like they can't do that.
That's not how life works.
But this can't continue. So John, it's why 2 Fridays ago, when I did my 5 biggest storylines to follow throughout the season that will only be answered during the season, number 1 was Jalen Hurts because it's the quarterback, and that's all it is. And this is June 16th. This story came out June 15th. We are 3 months away from the season starting, and we're getting more and more Jalen Hurts stuff. If you think we're getting it now, what do you think we're going to get during and after the next season? If you thought the A.J. Brown noise was annoying in week 4, what did you think we were going to get during the offseason?
Thing is, now, I will not be here shoulder to shoulder with either of you to do this, and Connor, but I will be, I believe that a lot of it is going to have to be then fabricated, because I don't believe that's what this team is going to give you. That's me looking into my crystal ball. I don't believe that's what this season is going to give you, because I do believe this is going to be a team where it's going to be much more positive storylines. So will there be people that will try to create those storylines? Sure, I do.
All right.
I don't believe that's
if they're winning.
If they're winning.
I don't believe.
And I believe they are.
First of all, there's no
I
if.
believe that they are.
There's no if about this team winning in my mind.
Yes.
Now that I could end up being proven wrong.
No, I think that this is a winning team. I think also you have to look at the subject matter, right? And the way that he's handled himself, completely different from A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown led a lot of that chatter, enjoyed that chatter, welcomed that chatter because it got him his end result, which was getting traded. Jalen Hurts, his end result is obviously going to stay here and get a contract. So rocking the boat is not going to attempt that, nor in anything of Jalen Hurts' past has taught us that he's going to be that guy. He is a very even. You have no idea after a game if they won or lost. If you watched the press conference on mute, you would have no idea Jalen Hurts won or lost the game if he threw for 500 yards or 7. You have no idea. So it's amazing. So I think that any kind of like chatter that's going to be in a negative as far as like taking away from the team, detrimental to the team, that would shock me. I do not see that happening. But there still will be those conversations because if there's not a contract extension done before, they're going to want to talk about it, and they're going to shut it down, and that's how it is, and we understand that. But it's still going to be in the back of everyone's mind because you want to lock this guy up.
Well, it's going to be. I mean, I'm getting a lot of interaction with it on here. Just going I think it's the point is that anyone who dares, and I say dares, to tell me that this should be a prove it year for Jalen Hurts, that supports it being a not prove it year for Jalen Carter, my listening ears are off. My listening ears are off for you. Like, I'm just like, you don't make sense to me as a fan. You are just, that doesn't make sense to me as a fan. That is, I'm listening to you speak, but I'm going,
but it's amazing. You keep on turning it to the fans, whereas Jalen Hurts is addressing the organization.
Well, here's what I'm saying. But he's not, though. He's not. Remember the story. This isn't Jalen. This is people in his camp. And what I say to you is very similar. And I said to Amy earlier to Andrew, what I'm going through right now personally, I said, it's not John's decision where the stuff goes out of storage and gets moved only. I don't get to just dictate and say, it's a collaborative decision in John's camp. And,
people know John's feelings.
But other people get a voice, and it's got to be a joint decision.
Yeah, and maybe Jalen has not voiced his frustration publicly, but he's had pillow talk and then pillow talk, and
I think
leads to something else.
See, I think there are sometimes, though, where I will say to a family member, did you see that a-hole on Twitter that said this? No, they'll point to someone and go, did you hear what that a-hole said about you, Dad, on Twitter? I'll go, no. And I'll be like, yeah, but they said, and I'll go, who are they? Some guy on Twitter. I'm like, who cares? Who cares? Doesn't affect your life. Don't worry about it. But, Dad, they said, I'm like, who cares? It's a faceless person.
I'm guessing you're quoting Liv because I know that you have one child.
Yeah, and I say that, but I'm like, it's a faceless. No, sometimes it's the bride too. And I'm like, it's a faceless person that you don't know.
Oh, she called you Dad?
Who cares? And who cares? Hey, baby.
Let's move on.
Yep.
Hey, there, keep moving.
Here we go.
Amy, trivia question for you: minimum 20 pass attempts. What's the lowest amount of yards Jalen Hurts threw in a game?
You got really focused on the 7.
You said 7. I was curious. I was like, you know what? There may have been a game. Minimum 20 pass attempts.
The lowest. 98.
You guys don't want to take a guess?
Sounded like a 7 was coming out. 74.
62.
72.
72.
72. It was against the Commanders in 2021.
Well, and the one thing that this isn't coming from Jalen per se, but it's coming from his camp. Even if it wasn't coming from his camp, if you walked up to any Eagles fan on the street and said, hey, Jalen Hurts is probably in line for a contract extension, which is not an earth-shattering sentence.
Yeah.
That's the expectation.
I've already said it 100 times. He's not playing on this current deal next year because the
NFL. That's the way,
yes.
And that's the way Eagles have worked. They try to lock the guys up before the market goes crazy. And you said, well, do you think you should get it done before the end? You're asking this random fan. Do you get it done before the season starts or at the end of the season? They would have some conversations about it. So to think that it's not Jalen Hurts, to me, that doesn't really matter. It's a normal thing for him to see, I'm a really good quarterback. I have taken my team to the Super Bowl twice.
We win.
We won it. I've won at every level. We've been in the playoffs 5 straight years. We've been to the Super Bowl. We've won it. I've proven everything that I can do. I've showed you that I'm a winner. Yes, the offense has been bad at times. And then he looks around the league and says, well, I'm better than that guy, and that guy. When people don't have him as a top 10, which is laughable on all these stupid lists, is just a joke. Because you're telling me things like Trevor Lawrence is better. Stop it. Stop talking. No more words.
Yes.
So even if Jalen Hurts isn't saying this per se, I don't think it's a big stretch in the world for him to say in his mind or anybody else's mind and say, Jalen Hurts is a really good quarterback. He's done this, this, and this. Why wouldn't you pay him? So I feel like that's kind of the overarching thing of like, I don't care if it's him saying it exactly. I don't think it's a big stretch to say Jalen Hurts deserves a contract extension. It's the amount that you're looking at.
Well, and that's the big thing. And we had a texter earlier, and we'll update the poll today, brought to us by Dr. Ahmed Appel and Iron Mountain Men's Health here in a moment. We had a texter earlier that was doing the Russell Wilson thing. Like, not only the style of play, but
stop.
It sounds like.
Stop it.
Well, no. What the texter said.
If there's any sentence that starts with Jalen and ends at Russell Wilson, I'm taking his headphones off.
We made
and
it
I'm
clear.
leaving.
We made it clear that those two personalities are not
Completely
even remotely close.
Jalen Hurts is friends with.
Yes.
Has the cell phone numbers of his offensive lineman. Is close to his offensive
However,
lineman.
the point that I said, all right, here's one thing to mention. Maybe there's somebody on the defense from that Super Bowl team that goes, wait, he's the one that's getting the recognition? We're the ones that.
Yeah. Well, welcome to football, friend.
Exactly. But when we had the texter bring up the Russell Wilson comp, it's almost like Richard Sherman being like, what do you mean Russell Wilson and the Seahawks? It's the lead.
Yeah, sorry, Richard.
Boom. And
which is true.
Russ is there.
It's like but that's not unusual. Usually it is the quarterback and whomever. But you can go back to, let's go back to the dynasty of the Steelers, right? Steel Curtain. Who was a quarterback?
It was Terry Bradshaw.
He was 4 for 4 in Super Bowls. No, people are like, wait, what?
Nobody taught, Terry Bradshaw was not leading them.
Exactly. So it's like, if you put
Troy Aikman.
Yeah, but Troy
was it
better.
But Troy was better with
someone
his
had to throw Michael Irvin the ball.
I understand, but Troy Aikman was never the reason they were dominant.
Right, but you looked at them and he was certainly in the conversation.
Correct.
So to anybody to equate Jalen Hurts with a Russell Wilson or even a Terry Bradshaw back in the day, as far as just like a figurehead, a gentleman that was out there is like managing the game. That's just
Jalen Hurts,
my soul.
The NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, both Super Bowls played really well. All right, what's the poll looking like? Poll of the day brought to us by Dr. Ivan Appel, Iron Mountain Men's Health. It's strong for 4 hours every single morning. We know that because Dr. Ivan Appel is the best. Earlier today, the results surprised us. Has it changed?
It has changed.
Okay,
so
I
our question, do you believe the city of Philadelphia as a whole respects Jalen Hurts enough? Now 62% of our responders saying no, 38% saying
yeah,
yes.
he doesn't get enough respect for literally being the Super Bowl MVP.
I mean, it's I'm glad to hear that because it's an absolute joke. And it reinforces that people believe.
But
he gets treated like crap in this town.
But
he gets treated.
We come to his defense, though, when it's people like Chris Sims and all these yahoos out there that say, he's not even a top 25, whatever the nonsense you see. So it's always funny to me.
Day here.
Yeah, well, it's like you can't make fun of my guy. I can make fun of my guy.
Yeah.
Like us picking
You can't
on
hate my
Andrew,
team.
Or us picking on
I can
Colin.
hate my team. You can't hate my player. I can hate my player.
People can pick on me anytime they want.
We all pick on each other. That's what we do around here.
But the thing is, if they didn't have expectations, then they wouldn't care.
And Amy bullies us, but nobody would ever believe it.
Yeah, we keep that in-house.
I just smile.
All right, coming up next, Connor, you were not here for a moment that took place before you got here this morning.
Oh, okay.
We may have a breakup to discuss.
Can we stay together for the kids?
I don't know. Ask John and Don.
Oh,
it's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Get a Bradford white water heater for your house. I'm telling you, no breakup there. The only thing you want to break up with is having unreliable hot water when you need it. So go get a reliable relationship with a Bradford white water heater. You never have to break up with one of those because they're awesome. And if you've had unreliable hot water in your house, you've gotten in the shower and you're like, when is it going to heat up? You never have to worry about that if you get a Bradford White. Bradford Whites are built to be the best. And go to BradfordWhite.com to learn more about them and to find out about the model that would be perfect for your home. So let's just say you want one of the traditional models, 25, 50, 75-gallon Mac Daddies. They've got those for you. Or if you want one of their tankless models, they've got those too. And they're so small now and so lean. And by the way, super efficient. So they come there, they got the finest components built from around the world. But more importantly, they're a local company that understands what you demand and what you need. Because how you heat your water, it matters. Choose my friends at Bradford White.
Inside the Birds, Jeff Mosher.
The second
So let's do that. Now, Andrew Salciunas has the day off today. It is not because of a clip that went viral from our show last week about Jalen Hurts. He's got regular vacation, but he was getting ripped because he said his number one question for the Eagles this year is about Jalen Hurts' performance at the quarterback position with the change in offense, Sean Mannion now taking over. What is your evaluation of that? Is that your number one question?
My number one question for this team this year would be if the offensive line can stay healthy and hold up. and it's not a very sexy question, right? Like, if the offensive line isn't healthy, we can't get Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson back to health. I don't care what plays Sean Mangan's calling. They're not going to have much of a chance. The offensive line has to be better. It has to be healthier. They've been the foundation of that team for so long. They've been responsible for so much success. We're talking about elite, all-time Eagle talents. So I don't say this in a critical way, but I say it in a way in which the offensive line has had to play through some injuries, and it's aging. And are they going to hold up and hold together? If they do, it's going to be a great season. If they don't, it's not. To me, that's where it starts.
Is the plan to keep Joel, and can you say...
Now back to Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
It is 8:48 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right. So some are saying that the big breaking news was the Joe Santoliquito article that dropped yesterday about Jalen Hurts not necessarily being thrilled with how the organization has handled the articles that have come out about him. There was more support for A.J. Brown, seemingly, than Jalen Hurts at times.
Yes.
And I hated that throughout the course of the season. And this prove-it year, that is happening. Whether people want to agree with it or not, it seems like it's happening. Whether you think it's the right idea or not is a whole different conversation.
Which I do not.
It is happening, okay? But that's not even the biggest story. We may have issues on Love Island.
Oh, no.
By the way, that's the...
is that the show?
Oh, Olivia.
Ray just mentioned
Liv watching that stupid Love Island.
We may have issues with John and Don. The number one...
Bromance in town.
It has surpassed Andrew and Jalen. We didn't even have a nickname. And I'm Jalen Phillips. We didn't even have a nickname.
No, I thought it was AJ.
Was it?
I think we were calling it AJ.
Well, all AJs have left the building.
Those are done.
No. There's an AJ now back with us.
There is.
AJ Epinesa.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I
forgot
Come
about
on
AJ.
back, everybody.
Nice pickup by the
Thanks.
I'm
telling you, we're
what's up?
It's
Go ahead.
It was NBC Sports Philadelphia yesterday, where I saw it. Our manager, Don Mattingly, he's asked about Trey Turner.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Don.
This is tough for you.
Don, are you? Have you thought about dropping him down in the order? Oh, no. Never even thought of that. Seriously? Never even thought of it? At no time, like the drive to work, the 4 hours you sit in your office, like, during the day as you contemplate a lineup, you never even thought of dropping him in the lineup? Do you think about giving him a day off? No, not really. The day before, you told me you thought about giving him a day off.
Oh, he thought about everybody.
So what happened? Like, you never.
Yeah,
so,
that was
so,
the thing.
so he wasn't included in the day off, people? Which is it? Did somebody's feelings get hurt? That the day before you mentioned him as being one of the people with the day off, and then so you corrected course? And then we get the Bryce doesn't like hitting second. Oops. Did you let the private stuff out in public? Whoops. Bryce, I don't give a damn that Bryce doesn't like hitting second. You're the manager. You shouldn't give a damn either.
Sounds like you're admitting that Rob Thompson.
No, what I'm going to say is this.
Really did nothing different.
No, what I'm going to say, which
is what Don Mattingly said.
Don Mattingly's awake during games. So I'm going to give him, there's an edge there. I mean, he's actually interacting with people during the games. But I'm going to tell you is that I was disgusted hearing that yesterday.
Yeah, but there was more to it.
Okay, go on. Give me more context.
Because they asked him, "Hey, did you think about it?" He's like, "Well, I haven't thought about it, so there's really no need to deliberate." And they said, "Well, would you ever consider it?" That was the follow-up, right? Would it ever be considered? Not really, not at this point. If it gets to that point, then consider anything that is going to help us to win.
No.
But right now, everybody's talking about Trey Turner and whatever else. So, I mean, it was like a non-answer answer.
Yes.
No, I mean, that's the thing is, though, is it's the first part that bothered me.
Right.
It's the idea that says, no, never considered it. Are you serious?
Well, I'll ask you what I asked yesterday.
That's his job.
How would you change
He'll
the way the
consider it
lineup
when he goes 0
done?
for 25.
Like, you would go, what?
Well, first off, right now, if it
Schwarber,
is
Bohm, Harper.
Well, I would tell you is that the analytics people, and there's a great thing on MLB TV the other day. We might have to get one of our folks from MLB Network.
Greg Cassert.
That Greg Cassert on. That good pull there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That Harper should bat leadoff.
Yeah.
He should be batting
That's been
leadoff.
talked about for years.
And he should be batting leadoff. But Bryce doesn't like batting second.
A good manager would do that.
I'm going to say that's why I'm calling it out, because I'm not going to sit here and just kiss his butt
Ladies and
when
gentlemen,
I think something is there.
This is what they say. The honeymoon phase is over. John Kincade and Don Mattingly. Is a breakup imminent?
It sounds like it.
They're definitely on the ropes.
Now, for John's sanity, Trey Turner will not be in the lineup today, I would imagine, after leaving the game yesterday with the wrist contusion when he was hit by a pitch. So maybe this is hey, why don't we take a little break here? You go in that room, I go in this room. But when Trey Turner's back and he's back at the top of the lineup, we might have to revisit this conversation.
I'm telling you right now, I'm disgusted. I was disgusted.
It's as if the players have a lot of say, John, just like they did with Rob Thompson.
You know what is that?
Don Mattingly came out and said, "I'm not going to do many things different than
But
Rob
they
Thompson."
started
he
winning.
did say that. He did.
So that's the first thing he said.
No, he did. The staying awake during games, though, is such a breath of fresh air.
People really are thinking that Thompson fell asleep. He did not.
No, it's
fall
the
asleep.
staring off in the game. It's the staring off. I'm liking it. Like last night was great. I loved the when you get to see the interactions between the manager constantly interacting with people.
Bryce didn't run out a ground ball to first base. I didn't see him talk to.
I have not seen any cool handshakes though.
No. Rob Topper had handshakes.
Kind of interesting. There might be some people in the fan base that says the quarterback falls asleep or at least stares off into space on the sidelines during games.
Just laser focus.
What are you saying there, Connor?
Well, winning.
What are you saying, Connor?
Win.
Rob Thompson won 1-1.
Yes. If Rob Thompson's sitting there going,
not this year.
Yeah, look, Don Mattingly took over a team that's extremely talented, and they finally woke up because they fired the manager, and they've been winning. I don't think Don Mattingly has necessarily done anything.
Two of the best pitchers.
Yeah, Zach Wheeler came back. When was he fired? Was Topper still around?
He got one start out of him.
He got one start out,
and it was the Braves, and he pitched 5 innings,
and then 2 days later, gone.
Yeah, I know that you love Donnie baseball. I know that you have his current picture in your room.
The current picture.
Not just your childhood boy crush
Very flattering.
signed Mattingly poster that everybody in the world somehow has. Everybody has a signed Mattingly poster.
I did not have anything because he was a Yankee.
Yeah, no.
They gave it out at Wilt's 100-point game, so everybody's got it.
Yeah. But
Which he didn't score 100.
your current day photo of Don Mattingly might be flipped down on
No,
the
I'm going to tell you,
nightstand right now.
I'm disgusted.
Yeah, he turned it away.
Don't tell me if Amy said if your boss ever said to you, what could you do better at work, or what could you do, and just say, no, I never even considered that.
Yeah, well, if he said that to you, if the paper called and asked what could John be doing better at work, it might be a different answer.
No, but you've got
It's
you
the
still have
media.
he's got to say, did you ever consider it? Yes, I consider everything in my. You can say the next sentence can be,
No, I
it's
feel
my
like
job to
I
consider
feel like he
everything.
doesn't put that out there because confidence-wise, it's a player-led organization, and they want the players to be confident, and they like them to know that they believe in them. That's my guess.
The whole Bryce doesn't like to hit second. That's a whole nother issue.
But
I'm so tired
that's
of
not
the
any
Little
different, though, from not saying Trey Turner. That's the same thing. You want to make sure Trey Turner's happy, right?
I don't.
So you're not considering moving him in the lineup. Trey Turner likes to hit where he likes to hit.
But he's killing them.
Well,
he's the worst in
just telling you
baseball
why.
hitting where he hits.
Oh, I know.
Of all
Which is
teams.
wild.
And I will
Who
tell
won the
you.
batting
So I
title
don't care.
last year?
So I don't care how he feels.
Right, but it's the same exact thing.
Yeah. I don't want to
And
cater to his
and
feelings.
unfortunately, the lineup's not deep that you're going to really
Exactly.
have somebody come up anyway.
Second best record in June, by the way, in baseball.
Correct.
Not because of him.
No, it's not.
Coming up next, more on the Hurts story, but also to change it up a little bit, more Phillies talk. This morning, John and I were talking about Zach Wheeler and where he stands among all-time Phillies. Do you realize that this is his 7th season? Like, sometimes I forget that he's been here for 7 years. We'll try to figure out where he stands among the greatest here in Philadelphia, the Phillies. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
What is going on with the Eagles? I'm Connor Thomas, and hey, it's the middle of the summer. So what do we have to talk about with the Eagles? Well, when Joe Santoliquito puts out an article, Bleeding Green Nation, talking about the uncertainty for the future of Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, it becomes a big storyline. He joined us earlier on the show, and he talked about what folks in Hurts' camp have issue with the way he's currently being handled by the organization.
These are people close to jail, and their venom seemed to be pointed at the team. I looked all over the place. There was nothing after those stories were written in defense of Hurts. Like, no one came out to say anything about this guy, in defense of this guy, whether it be players, whether it be something from the team itself, no one.
So we'll keep an eye on that as the offseason continues and the Eagles are not on the field for the next 6 weeks or so. The Phillies were on the field last night, shutting out the Marlins 7-0 to take a win in their series opener. Zach Wheeler 6 scoreless, striking out 9 in his start. A couple of home runs for Gabriel Rincones Jr., his first career, and JT Realmuto. And it wasn't all good news for the Phillies, unfortunately. Trey Turner exited last night's game after getting hit by a pitch on his right wrist. X-rays after the game were negative, so we'll keep an eye on his status. Game 2 is tonight at 6:40 p.m. Jesus Luzardo on the mound, facing Tyler Phillips. This update is brought to you by Modelo. Join Ricky Bo Friday, June 19th from 7 to 9 p.m. at Independence Beer Garden in Old City for a Modelo match night. Enjoy $6 Modelo draft, soccer giveaways, and match day excitement. Details at 975thefanatic.com. I'm Connor Thomas from the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
Is the plan to keep Joel, and can you say with 100% certainty that Joel Embiid is back for 2026?
Yeah, Joel's ours right now. I've had great conversations with him. We FaceTimed. I'm actually going to see him in a couple days to kind of sit down in person with him. But, we just got to get Joel on the court. Obviously when he plays, we're really good. He's still a dominant force. I mean, he can get 25 in his sleep. And I know he's self-motivated. Obviously he doesn't like the questions about him not being available, but he wants to play. He wants to be on the court. And, that's on me. That's on our whole staff and Nick and the whole building to get him to his best self.
There is no reason to panic about the Jalen Carter contract situation. And lo and behold,
more of what Andrew and John have to say. Don't worry, we will. But first, let's hear what they got into earlier today on Kincade and Salciunas.
Here's the title. Philadelphia better watch itself or it will lose another superstar. But the point that he's making is, Jalen Hurts has had so much success here, and yet there's potentially a chance that he leaves. For some reason, it seems like Hurts is nowhere near as appreciated as he should be in Philadelphia. Anywhere else, considering his achievements, Super Bowl MVP, his winning resume, and the simple fact that he just wins would be celebrated in almost every other NFL city. Not here. Hurts will soon be up for another contract extension. The Eagles have not budged yet on that. They better watch out. There are some around Hurts who feel he may have been traded after last season, and some around him and in some NFL circles that he may be gone after this coming season if he does not perform. Which is why I said it's the number one storyline, because it's the quarterback, it's the franchise quarterback, it's everything that you say. The fact that he wins, the resume. It sounds crazy that we're having this conversation, but I believe that, yes, the Eagles are setting up a quiet, prove-it year for Jalen Hurts. It's getting louder than quiet at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say.
This isn't quiet.
It's not quiet anymore.
I think it's damning towards the Eagles, and I think the Eagles, and by the way, I think it's damning towards a large portion of this fan base. I think this fan base, we do not take the time to ever look in the mirror and understand how we're looked at. Other franchises would kill to have the success we've had.
Yes, absolutely.
And we can't enjoy it.
Now back to the show.
It is the 9 o'clock hour here on Kincade and Salciunas. It's a Tuesday with Amy Fadul in studio with us. And yes, we've been talking about the Jalen Hurts article from Joe Santoliquito of Bleeding Green Nation that dropped yesterday. We've been reacting to it pretty much all morning. We're going to get into more Phillies talk regarding Zach Wheeler coming up in a little bit. But I want to play another clip for you from Joe. If you want to watch the interview, you can. Austin did a great job, as always, posting the entire interview in itself on the YouTube page and, of course, 97.5thefanatic.com. And Joe Santoliquito, I asked him because – and I'm not saying anything disrespectful to Joe. When he was talking, some of it was like, this is the Eagles. Some of it is, this is Jalen Hurts. Some of it is, this is the fans.
That's why I had to clarify with him to make and got him to clarify more about talking about what is.
Who's he upset with?
When you say that it's his camp, a lot of it is his camp.
Yeah.
Is not happy.
Well, and it was directed at the top of the team, not necessarily teammates.
It's not teammates.
No, it's the people making decisions about things like a contract.
Yes.
So
very similar.
In the article, I'll read it word for word again. Hurts will soon be up for another contract extension. The Eagles have not budged yet on that. They better watch out. There are some around Hurts who feel he may have been traded after last season, and some around him and in some NFL circles that he may be gone after this coming season if he does not perform, which is why the number one story is the prove-it year, whether you like hearing that or not. The Eagles are setting it up. You heard it in the reset there. It used to be quiet. It is no longer a quiet prove-it year. It is now
No, it's not quiet.
It is now public.
No, there's nothing quiet about it.
But at one point in the interview, we straight up asked him, like, hey, what do you think? Do you think this is a prove year?
Yeah.
He believes it's more Nick Sirianni than Jalen Hurts.
I do too. 100%.
But when he talked about maybe after this season he's not here, I asked him.
He being Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
Yeah.
I asked him, is that Jalen's doing or the Eagles doing? This was his answer. The future of Jalen Hurts, is it more hinging on his play or his desire of where he wants to be? Because you're saying that he may not necessarily feel appreciated here. So is this a Eagles will make a decision on Jalen Hurts moving forward, or Jalen Hurts will make a decision on Jalen Hurts moving forward?
The latter. Because again, you're again dealing with something here, and again the Barkley situation where it came to a point in time where you can only kick me so long before I went out.
And two, a lot of people weren't here and didn't live the Barkley situation.
Charles, not Saquon.
Charles, yes, exactly. Charles, it's not like Charles.
Not Matt Barkley.
Charles got frustrated with the fact is he was begging the Sixers to do things to surround him with so he could compete. It's a different situation than Jalen's completely. And Charles just wanted to go somewhere where he
wanted
could
to win.
And wanted to win.
And when players, in Charles's case, it was like, you say you value me, but you're not showing me you value me, right? You say that I'm this guy, but I don't have anybody around me. It's not a singular sport, right? So I think that's it.
It's a difference.
So there is a difference in that regard as far as they've surrounded him.
They've surrounded Jalen.
Right? They've surrounded him.
They surrounded him now.
They shipped off A.J. Brown. They have wide receivers in there, which will be that's going to be some very interesting battles to see who makes some of the roster moves. I think Wicks and Mekhi Lemon, obviously Devontae are locks, but there's some interesting fellows on the bubble when it comes to wide receiver. So he has talent around him. They've done that job, but now it's like, okay, now we do need you to show that you're still that guy. I don't think it's a prove it as far as we don't believe you, but if we're going to give you this huge contract, John thinks it's going to start with a 6.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, it's going to get close. That's a lot of money tied up, especially when we're spending that kind of money.
Everywhere else.
Everywhere else?
Literally everywhere else.
Jalen Carter's going to break the bank. He's going to set the market for defensive tackle. There's
the
no
one
doubt
position that they're cheap on moving forward, it seems, is safety. Because they're going to have to pay corner. They're not going to let.
And it shows.
Now, look, to me, I'm going to tell you right now. And again, I won't be here to talk about it with you guys.
We'll have to call
I
you.
believe at a time, I'm not so sure they're going to pay Cooper DeJean. They're going to have to pay Jalen Carter, okay? Mm-hmm. They're going to have to pay Quinyon Mitchell.
Yes, absolutely.
Top of both of those guys are going to be paid. They're going to reset their position where they are paid top of their market position.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think Cooper DeJean is going to want to be paid?
A lot of money.
I don't think they're doing it.
Unless they just go extremely cheap in other areas.
I don't think they're doing it. I just don't. I don't see how the math works. Because Coop's going to want to be paid. He was the second round pick, so he didn't get the first round money.
Hey, all I know is where Coop goes, Big Dom goes.
And so there it is.
Big Dom has to say have to say in this organization.
Yeah, he does.
All right, what do we have on the Davis Honda text line? Feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. And this is why by the way, you're just dropping all these takes.
Exactly.
You're like, I'm
he's
not
like,
gonna be
here's
here.
what's going to happen in the season.
I'll check back in with
Here's
you.
another nuke that I'm going to drop one of you guys.
He just pulls the pin and just
and
releases
then when I
it.
call, he won't answer.
No, I'm just saying,
this is John.
No, I'm not you.
No, every time I call, John's voicemail,
Is it bad?
Can we play it?
No. Because I don't know what's on it.
It's the most aggressive. This is John.
Hold on. we
Leave
gotta
a
find
message. Best way to contact is text.
And that's why I would say text me.
We might need to call your voice.
Let's call it.
No, I don't even know what it sounds. I don't even know what it sounds like.
We'll
I don't even know when I did it.
voicemail recording.
Why are you anti-playing it?
No, because you know why? It's because there's something where there's a code on my voicemail where I can't change it from years ago. Yeah, there's a code. There's a text. I tried to change it, and there's like a code, and you can't change it. So Amy will have to hear it, and she can judge on that.
This is John. Leave a message.
Because I've never heard it.
Have you heard it, Connor?
He's answered my phone.
I have not.
No, I usually answer.
Oh, so he answers your calls. He just doesn't.
I don't call him. I text him.
No, text me.
Well, because he says in his voicemail, text is the best way to communicate.
And you never listen.
And I'm a caller because I call more than I text. Let's check the Davis on a text line while we're at it. What we got?
All right. Let's see what we have. This is Mike from Levittown. who says, I'm always Team Eagles, and I'll appreciate Hurts for what he's brought to the town. That said, does he just win because he played for Alabama and Oklahoma and the Eagles, not Texas Christian or Temple or the Jets or the Raiders? Given his limitations, this is a fair question.
It is a fair question, but it's also unfair to take away from what he has accomplished. Like, you don't just get to Alabama.
Yeah, that's what
you know what I mean? Like, you don't just like. I get what you're saying, Texter. I'm not like because I hear you. All right, like
Yeah,
this is why the Jalen Hurts conversation is so complex.
Like, hey, maybe he'll turn into something.
You go to Alabama because you're the best. You're one of the best quarterbacks. That's why you go to Alabama. And then when you leave Alabama, Texas Christian wasn't the fallback school. It was Oklahoma. And then you were drafted second round because you're
You
good.
took 2 teams to the Natty.
Yes.
And I know people will point out, like, oh, but he got replaced. Yeah, but look at the SEC game before that. Look at the game before that where he came in and saved the day. Like, it's just, he's an elite level talent. He is a winner at every level. There is no doubt about that. If you doubt his ability to win games, it's not going to work out well for you. But it is pretty, yeah. He played at Alabama and Oklahoma and took them to the national championship.
And he's a winner, and he's a winner everywhere.
Saw him and said, yes. This is the guy I want to be the quarterback of my historically successful organization.
I sat with Nick Saban at the Oprah.
I have a statue.
Not at the Oprah Winfrey Hotel, but I would always call it that. The Winfrey Hotel, SEC Media Days, and listened to him talk about Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, he loves him.
Still talks about him globally.
You love Landon, too. Love Landon Dickerson.
So, like, I can't, like, I get it. Like, if he played for the Jets and he didn't have much talent around him, you might wonder, is Jalen Hurts the reason why the Philadelphia Eagles win?
He's holding them back.
Right. I don't think he's holding them back. I also don't think Jalen Hurts is the number one reason why they win.
And honestly, isn't that what you want? Don't you want an enhancer? Don't you want a guy that's going to take everything to the next level? You don't. It used to be such a phrase that has such a negative connotation as game manager, but you really break it down. You want someone to manage the game. You don't want someone to be out there rogue cowboying it up and like, all right, you know what? We need 20 yards. Great. Because I put myself in a situation where we have to get 3rd and 20. You don't want that.
Right.
You don't want a guy that's all of a sudden going to you hate when you see they have that deep ball. All we needed was 7. Why are we throwing 25? It's 2nd and 2nd, now 3rd and 7. Like, what are we doing? I think it's such a negative connotation when you say game manager. I'm not saying that's what Jalen Hurts is, but I'd rather have that than somebody that's just, oh, well, he can throw the ball 50 yards. Great.
Josh Allen games, there are at least going to be 1 or 2 times where, what was that throw from an analyst? And it's again an ex-quarterback
doing the other.
Like, wow, he's trying to do too much there.
Right.
He's trying to do the.
You'll also hear in the same game, wow, not many players can make that play.
Jalen Hurts, you rarely ever hear that in a Jalen Hurts game.
Listen,
where it's like, what was Jalen thinking with that throw?
Right. No, it's
hear it.
very,
almost
like,
it's
very efficient.
Yes,
it's a different reason.
Right.
It's not like you're trying to do too much.
And that's why he's so hard to talk about because, I'm not trying to sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth because I have a level of respect for Jalen Hurts. I don't have the same level of love that a lot of people do. I don't have the same level of asinine hatred that a lot of people do. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle like I am with politics. Like I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. Jalen Hurts does a lot of things well. There are things that Jalen Hurts does not do as good as some other quarterbacks in the NFL. And for whatever reason, when I say that, both sides get upset.
Exactly. No, no one will ever appreciate that. You can't have that opinion. You have to be
one side or the other.
One camp or the
you
other.
have to love him or hate him. That's it.
Like no, I got to do forget my fandom. For my career, I got to do a show next to John and Connor on Broad Street talking about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. That
largely thanks to Jalen Hurts.
That little Andrew would have been like, "What? You did that?"
I had tears in my eyes.
You know
that
what
day.
I mean? Like, I will forever respect that man. But if you ask me, who would you rather have if you're starting a team, Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts?
That's
Josh
a different conversation.
It's a different
conversation.
It doesn't mean you don't like him.
Right. It's a different conversation.
You can recognize that you can recognize certain things about your quarterback and think, I wish he did this or I wish he did that. But it doesn't mean you're like, oh, that guy's the worst.
And I don't think Jalen Hurts would necessarily argue with you.
I think he thinks he's better than some of those guys. I don't know. I mean, you pointed out, John, he has outplayed a certain gentleman.
Last 4 times they've been on the field together,
But
he's
overall,
outplayed
I
them
will always
every
take
time.
Patrick Mahomes.
And I think every general manager in the league would.
Yeah.
I think 32 out of 32 would. It's just
There's some media
it's who
pundits.
It is.
Well, and that's why
Media.
I
aren't going to agree.
You know what's going to be really interesting? We're going to get into this Wheeler discussion here now. But what's going to be really interesting, and I have checked ESPN.com almost every day since he told us about it. When we had Jeremy Fowler on, was it us or was he on with Middays with Marks? I forget who. He was on the station, and he talked about he's doing his quarterback ranking, his wide receiver ranking.
I think we talked about it.
It might have been us, where he talks to coaches, executives, and scouts. It's not, here's the team at ESPN's thought. It's, these are the people that are inside the NFL. A.J. Brown will still be considered a top 10 wide receiver despite everything that went down. It's going to be really interesting to see where Jalen falls. Jalen was not in the top 10 last year after winning Super Bowl MVP. I wonder where he's at this year after last
Remember
year.
that list?
No, but the players last year.
And you know how I feel about players.
What?
The players can't watch the rest of the league. The players' polls do nothing for me.
Players'
Wait a
polls
minute,
are
wait a minute.
based on
Wait a
just
minute.
the feeling.
You're saying you put more into the opinion of some
coaches,
coaches. So
scouts,
this is coaches, scouts, executives, and players. So of those 4, he puts more into
you don't
the
put
non-players.
Really?
Yeah,
you don't
but
think
if you talk to players and you ask them,
because he was 17th last year
which
in
is
the
hilarious.
entire NFL.
But they do, social media, they always have these fun little questions or whatever. They'll ask these guys, like, who's your favorite, whatever. These guys don't watch the games like we all watch. They're all busy.
If their game's at 4, they're at the field at 9 a.m., and then they're there till...
They'll, tune in to watch highlights.
Yeah.
There was a dude that was playing the Eagles that called Reed Blankenship Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
Right.
He knows who he is, and he says, I'm Reed. I was like, oh yeah, I know
I'm
who
the
you
other
are.
one.
It's not because I don't
The other
think
guy.
they know what they're talking about. Of course, I value their football opinion more than mine.
They watch the highlights.
But they don't. They're playing.
And
They're
what are
I'm
highlights
going to tell you,
inherently?
the media opinions that I hear from many of them, I wonder what they watch.
No, the coach. To me, it's I value the coach, scout, executive.
Yeah, coach, scout, executive is the best one.
Yeah, that's
to
the
me.
one I value.
That would be the best. And by the way, I would put that one above. I would give that the slight edge over players.
Yeah, because they're
slight edge over. But
That's their jobs.
I think you're putting the players one. I think you're giving it too much disrespect. Because I think that players know. Players who've been on the field know.
Good thing you're going to be gone when this list comes out.
There you go. The list is coming, baby.
All right. Zach Wheeler does it again last night. And John and I were talking about this morning, about just kind of where does he stand among all-time Phillies greats? And it's not
Philly sports greats.
It might be the best.
We were
Phillies,
saying Philly.
It might be the best Phillies free agency signing ever.
But we were saying Philly sports greats, even.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
And not over the course of one season. Like Connor,
People
I
forget
know
how long he's been here.
Yeah, I know your love for Doc Halladay. I'm with you.
That's
He's my favorite.
Zach Wheeler, Roy Halladay's 2010 season will never be beaten, probably ever again in Philadelphia, because let's face it, 9 complete games, that doesn't happen anymore.
No.
Zach Wheeler, for as much as we love Zach Wheeler, has 4 complete games in his career with the Phillies. 4.
That's baseball.
That's baseball, right.
That's just baseball.
So Roy Halladay's single 2010 season probably won't ever be beaten.
That's because they were managing baseball different.
But 7 seasons of consistent dominance, except for 2023, where he had a 3.61 ERA.
Oh, look at that. Woo.
He
He
sucks.
was a bum.
He sucks.
He was a bum that year.
His ERA in 166 starts with the Phillies is a 2.87.
That's wild.
That's dumb. It's
wild.
It's unbelievable. And I still remember when they first signed him, there were people that were upset by it because the Mets stink that surrounded him and the blister issues and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And
the Mets stink was definitely something.
I always laughed at that one. I hate the Mets, but good players are good players.
Exactly.
I don't care what they wear. Good players are good players. Zach Wheeler, you mentioned it, Amy. He's probably the best signing. The only guy
overall, think about it. The best Phillies free agent signing. They went out on the free agent market and said, we need to have this in or whatever position you
the
want.
one guy I'd rival
and we got this guy.
Schwarber and Harper.
Right.
Harper's pretty good.
Kind of cool. You got 3 of them on the team right
But
now.
think about that. Like, as far for the dollar, though, for what you got him for initially.
Oh, yeah, they barely paid anything.
They
How about
barely
the extension
paid
is good
anything.
still?
So I think, yes, Harper's going to go down because he's a Hall of Famer. He's an MVP.
So is Zach Wheeler.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But, you paid top dollar for him at the time. Now, not top dollar. Not anymore, but at the time. But for Zach Wheeler, you paid pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
It's
for what you
amazing
got.
what you
It's
got for him.
incredible.
Yeah, and he's just been consistent. Like, I know, and I was saying this to John and Connor earlier, Amy. Last night, Cooper randomly wanted to watch Dora. I don't know where that came from. That's fine. Dora the Explorer. And I was relegated to the laptop, and I was watching the game, but half the time I was staring off into space because I just knew that Wheeler was going to get everybody out.
There's something about a
Feel good
Wheeler
about it.
start. A Wheeler start is so, there's no stress.
Think about it. You have 2 of those this year.
It's amazing.
You have 2 non-stressful starts.
It's
I watch a
unbelievable.
Christopher Sanchez start different.
The only thing you worry about is like, well, you got to get a run.
Maybe it's disrespectful, though, with Christopher Sanchez, that I'm more like watching because I've almost gotten nonchalant about I totally trust Wheeler that it's just going to be automatic.
Yeah.
Whereas with Sanchez, I'm watching and I'm like, wow, look what he's doing. Look what he's doing, because it's almost like I take it for granted with Wheeler.
Like,
and
his ERA is top 3 once. It's
amazing.
And he's coming off of thoracic outlet syndrome.
Exactly.
And his ERA is 2.22. What? In now 9 starts. It's not like he's made 2 starts. He's made 9 starts now.
Yeah.
Can we just point out for the record for the audience, too, by the way, that Amy disagrees that she says my audience, my voicemail message is a normal voicemail message.
I thought it was. I didn't see. It did not seem aggressive.
Completely.
You don't think so?
I'll listen to it and we'll break the tie.
I just listened to it.
It's a completely
the
normal
voicemail left was like, that sounded somewhat normal.
This is John. Leave a message.
Doesn't it's a completely normal voicemail message.
There is a little bit at the end where he says texting is better. That's a little bit like louder,
No,
but the rest
the
is like normal.
I get scared when it.
Really?
This is John.
If I could change it, I would, believe me, but I can't because I don't know the stupid code.
Well, 1, Connor's going to listen to in the break, and 2,
Connor,
I'm
you
going to
do
help
it.
John find the code.
The best is one of my best friends. You've met Jack, great physical
Love
therapist,
Jack.
lives in South Carolina now, living his life. He had his voicemail from like middle school up until like last year.
Yes.
Because now he's a physical therapist, so now he has like.
So he has some people actually have to
but
call
like
him.
up until last year, it was still like, "Hey, it's
this is
Jack."
Leave me a note.
And when he changed it, I was so sad. Oh man, that's a.
John, if you
Close
do
the book.
change it, can you make it more like what Andrew's talking about?
This is
I need you
John.
to straight up
you
yell
don't
at
take
people.
any advice from Pop-Up about using the phone.
I need you to change the voicemail to what he thinks it sounds like.
All right, coming up next, biggest story in football. It's not Jalen Hurts, but it is about another quarterback. Imagine being shocked over a response from society when you were the only person that thought it was a good idea. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The future of Hurts. I'm Connor Thomas. An interesting article by Joe Santoliquito dropped yesterday on Bleeding Green Nation, pointing to some uncertainty for the future of Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. Well, Joe joined us earlier to give more color to that story and what's going on with the Eagles quarterback.
Jalen Hurts is a superstar. Just treat him better than you have right now. And from talking to people that are close to him, the impression is this was aimed more so at the team.
So it seems there's a little bit of rocky road there as the Eagles wait for training camp to begin. We got another month and a half until that gets going. So we'll keep an eye on the developing situation that has been slightly ongoing throughout the offseason. The Phillies shut out the Marlins 7-0 to take a win in their series opener last night at the bank. Zach Wheeler, 6 scoreless, 9 strikeouts in his start. Gabriel Rincones Jr. hit his first career home run. He and JT Realmuto both went yard in the win. It wasn't all good news for the Phillies. Trey Turner exited after getting hit by a pitch on his right wrist. X-rays negative after the game, so it's a right wrist contusion for Trey Turner. Game 2 is tonight at 6:40 p.m. Jesus Luzardo is on the mound facing off against Tyler Phillips. Phils win. They will take the series win. Amy Fadul is with us for the remainder of the show. This update is brought to you by Staples. Epic parties start at Staples. Now you can grab Party City balloons, decorations, and tableware, plus matching custom invites, banners, and more right at Staples. That was easy. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic app.
The Eagles have a culture And it's really weird, though, what surprises me. And I go back to the first segment and you sort of saying to me, I don't care about all that stuff with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo and everything. You don't value it. I do. I so value the mentality of having players that want to be football players over celebrities first. There is zero question in my mind, zero, that Jackson Dart loves being a celebrity and is enjoying being a celebrity. And to me, I think that's great for Eagles fans. I think it's awesome because he hasn't accomplished a damn thing, and he's loving being a celebrity. Scatterbo cannot help himself but to be out and about being a celebrity, being spotted. Where has he been? What's he doing? What's he been? I love it. Let them be living that life. Where can we be? Where can we walk a red carpet? Where can we be seen? I will take life with Jalen Hurts, boring-ass Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley, who literally are as boring as white milk and saltine crackers. And I will
the main thing.
I'll take it all day long because I think you win with players like that.
Do we believe what he's doing right now? What do you think?
That's a rough question, Ricky.
Well, it's a loaded one, of course.
It is. The jury for me is still so out. I mean, the past week offered some reason to think it's still in there. Did we think that before? I don't know anybody who did. On the other hand, even if you look at this past week, it's a 241 batting average with 0 walks over the last 8 games. But there's 3 homers and a double in there. And I think within that, there's some signs this might not be the disaster than people thought it was. And like the reason to think that is his swing now is just totally different than it was in spring training and even what it was a few weeks ago. He's moved back in the box. He's opened up more than we've ever seen him. He's not pointing that bat at the pitcher anymore, which made his setup so long, so slow. I just don't know what it means yet. I keep thinking back to that 2023 postseason. I'm sure you guys remember it well. That dude homered 5 games in a row in the LCS and World Series. But since the second half of that next season, 2024, I can only find 2 other weeks like this one where he even hit 3 bombs in a week. So, let's see what the next week looks like. I would just say I still think he's going to get a lot of runway. I mean, there's no one literally to replace him out there. There's no star right-handed hitting right fielder they can go trade for.
So let's do that. Now, Andrew Salciunas has the day off today. It is not because of a clip that went viral from our show last week about Jalen Hurts. He's got regular vacation, but he was getting ripped because he said his number one question for the Eagles this year is about Jalen Hurts' performance at the quarterback position with the change in offense, Sean Mannion now taking over. What is your evaluation of that? Is that your number one question?
My number one question for this team this year would be if the offensive line can stay healthy and hold up. And it's not a very sexy question, right? Like, if the offensive line isn't healthy, we can't get Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson back to health. I don't care what plays Sean Mannion's calling. They're not going to have much of a chance. The offensive line has to be better. It has to be healthier. They've been the foundation of that team for so long. They've been responsible for so much success. We're talking about elite, all-time Eagle talents. So I don't say this in a critical way, but I say it in a way in which the offensive line has had to play through some injuries, and it's aging. And are they going to hold up and hold together? If they do, it's going to be a great season. If they don't, it's not. To me, that's where it starts.
YouTube.com/975 The Fanatic Philadelphia. More of Kincade and Salciunas coming your way now.
The final hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
All right, we're going to get to Brendan
Dumpster in a
Soers.
bag.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's your favorite part of the day.
Good part of the day.
We're going to get to Brendan Sorsby in a second here, but I just saw something pop up on my timeline that
I did too, and Amy I thought was messing with me.
Is this conflict of interest?
Oh.
What's that?
Speaking of Brandon Swordsby, no, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. ESPN and SportsCenter Next is the official home for high school sports.
Okay.
So they
Okay.
show
Sure.
all the highlights
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. So it's its own separate channel. Persham Sharania, for the first time ever, SportsCenter Next and ESPN are signing 2 players to merchandise deals. The number 1 girls player on the SportsCenter Next 100, Kalina Smith, and the number 2 boys player on the SportsCenter Next 100, Beckham Black, who is the younger brother of Anthony Black, who plays for the Magic. Is that a conflict of interest?
How so?
Well, they're going to talk about those players,
Right.
and it's their merchandise. So would they speak on them?
More glowingly because of that?
And would
Trying
they
to hawk the merchandise?
And if they have a bad game, would they be like, man, they played really poorly, or would they not do that?
Yeah, because
There's a potential.
you're still selling them, so you want to make sure you sell them in a way that people are still going to be.
That's what I'm
buying.
saying.
Yeah.
Is that because this is we're
I don't
talking
know. I don't
about
think I thought about that.
sports coverage. Like, imagine if, well, I mean, there's deals cut all the time.
Yes.
But like if certain media outlets are covering something or somebody not 100%
Well, like people
accurate
have these
because
A.J. Brown stories, and then all of a sudden they don't get told until A.J. Brown. What are you talking about? Are you talking about handshake
Well,
deals here?
I'm going to tell you right now. Is Joe Sanliquido, has gotten bullied multiple times about articles he's written by, teams. Teams bully people for coverage. Police teams for coverage. It wouldn't surprise me if media organizations, manipulate their coverage based on what they're in business with. Like, look, The ESPN, who I love and I worked with for many, many years, the whole W, pushing the W. Keep pushing. Nobody uses that. They keep pushing it. Well, last night in the W, nobody does that.
I mean the phrasing?
No, yeah, nobody in the world is walking to the water cooler in the morning and going, hey, were you watching the W last night?
Well, you're not a fan. Maybe there are
they
fans.
Keep pushing.
I think we'll just say the WNBA.
They keep pushing it and they try to, hey, make it a thing. You can't make everything a thing, but they do it because they're in business.
Sure. I just wonder, like, they're wearing, like, I'm looking, they're actually pretty nice jackets. It's the SC.
Oh, yeah.
The SC, and it says next underneath it. It's actually a pretty sick jacket. But I wonder, is that a potential conflict of interest?
It is.
Because if the guy's playing really poorly, and let's face it, this is all right, let's get ahead of this a little bit now. Like, look, Zion Williamson was the next LeBron until he wasn't. And so then it was, who do we find next to talk about because we need to have that person?
I think maybe you have to look at it in the fact of, like, how much high school sports coverage are they really doing?
Yeah, probably not that much.
And you.
It would be different if it was like, we signed Joe Burrow. Okay, well, you're probably going to have a little bit more. If that, you would have more conflict of interest.
You're right, exactly.
I don't know.
You probably aren't. You are, and you and Connor are too young to remember when LeBron got the coverage in high school from ESPN that he got. When ESPN did his games, and I believe it was 10th grade, that was unheard of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And they were doing it for LeBron. They weren't doing it for his school. They weren't, because ESPN had high school games before.
Sure.
Yeah.
But when they're doing it, and I remember Dick Vitale being critical of it.
Oh, really?
Well, because it was the professionalizing amateur athletics, which is a laughable conversation in 2026.
I was with ESPN at the time, and Dick Vitale there were people that weren't happy with him, that he was critical of it, saying, we're going too far. We're going, and so believe me, these when people get in bed with each other on issues like this, it does blur the lines. Blurs the lines on the coverage, on how things are handled.
Yeah,
I found it interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's interesting that I think the interesting angle for me when I saw that, and thank you for pointing it out, is that they believe high school sports are a viable merchandising option. Like, there was a long time where you worked in, and I worked in local television, where high school sports that doesn't move the needle.
Right.
No, I mean, in the South it does.
In the South it does.
But, like, I was working in Baltimore. High school sports, like, well, they have a place for it, and it's a very small, narrow place. But now high school sports it's the last bastion of amateurism because Lord knows college isn't anymore. But I feel like there's a lot more interest in it because people are interested.
Well, look at the Catholic League finals. I mean, that place. But it didn't. The Palestra. That place. The Palestra was packed. It normally is.
Like, we care about high school sports in this area. Like, we respect it. But from the South, on a Friday night,
there's nothing else to do.
ABC affiliate, Fox affiliate, everything in the South.
Yeah, we had shows.
Half hour, high school after the news. Half hour, let's go to all the different games in the
Ours
state.
was called Friday Night Flights because we could use a helicopter.
And that's what they would do.
I still remember. So I did
35 minutes.
I did 2 play-by-play games when I was in high school, and we streamed it on the local cable.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish we had those games.
And John,
wish we had it.
I will tell, because I went to high school with the kids, the guys.
Yeah,
sure.
My friends.
Yep.
They were nervous as can be.
This is
And
great.
I was like, 7 people.
Exactly. I was like,
no, but still, though,
because your parents are here, your family's here, like they're here in the building to watch you play. There are probably 7 people watching this. I can only imagine what they would experience if it was like Texas Friday Night Live.
It's amazing.
It's totally different.
Like it's you don't.
It's different.
How big?
But there's nothing else there. So here in Philadelphia, we care about our high school sports to a degree because it's interesting to see these guys that are going to be stars at the college level and then at the pro level. But it's not lock in on a Friday night or a Saturday for like, that guy's doing really well. Maybe I'll go. Colton Hiller, great player down in Coatesville playing basketball. Brother, Max Hiller, going to Florida, one of the best offensive linemen in the history or in the country right now. No one's talking about him. One, because he's probably the offensive lineman, but these are you have 2 5-star players from the same family playing for Coatesville. And it's like,
but if it was Texas, we'd know about him.
Yeah, I mean, if you
look at this phenom.
If you're when Friday nights at Live School, Marist, where, Sean McVay, the Rams coach, was our quarterback at years and years before she ever attended there. The state police comes in and shuts down the road and makes it
You don't even have to
one
go
way.
that far. Go at the other side of the state.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Pittsburgh.
It's unbelievable, like what they do at where Brandon Marsh's high school.
Oh yeah,
Brandon Marsh's high school at Buford. They built a stadium. Go Google Buford High School Stadium. It looks like a college stadium.
Or just
It's amazing.
Watch the next edition of Phillies Clubhouse.
There you go.
Damn right, Amy.
We chit-chatted about that.
All right,
Very
so
good.
You did not get to go though, did you?
If to Philly for a
I didn't know if you got
3-minute story to go down. No,
I don't know if you
it's
got
just
to
one
go.
little part of it.
Because it is beautiful.
That'll be the off-season cover.
It is
Yeah, I'll
beautiful.
go down to Buford. I've been to Buford.
All right, so the biggest story in sports still is this Brendan Sorsby thing. Now that the New York Knicks have won the championship and that's over, except for OG Anunoby's bender and Mikal Bridges' bender that they're going on right now. Brendan Sorsby, the quarterback from Texas Tech, originally Cincinnati, originally Indiana, where he gambled on the teams both times that he played there, was a part of the organization. Remember, last week, the judges in Lubbock County, which is the home of Texas Tech, said, yeah, sure, we'll take your hand out, and we'll say he's okay. Allegedly. Maybe. I don't know.
He's eligible.
They probably got paid. Texas Tech and Brendan Sorsby decided to part ways.
It was never going to stand. It was never going to stand up.
Because somehow the AD of Texas Tech did not think that there was going to be backlash.
Well, all the teams are like, we're not playing you.
That you were allowing a guy that has legitimately gambled on the games that he has been a part of, whether he was actually playing or on the sideline, but had information.
Correct.
$90,000 as a high school or a college student. I know NIL money is a lot there, but that's still a lot of money for a college kid.
Here's what I'm going to tell you, though. Context, $90,000 sounds wild. The average bet was $9.34.
I don't care what he bet.
Okay, no, I understand. The average bet, though, was $9.
That's a lot of bets then.
Well, I understand.
That's more
He was
disconcerting.
addicted. Was $9.34.
Yeah.
So I just think the context
But
has to be
isn't that
there.
just the money that he bet on? You don't know what else. We don't know what else he
his
bet.
average bet was $9.34.
Just on college football.
Correct. No, his average bet was $9.34. So, I mean, he wasn't betting. He wasn't going and putting $50,000 bets. He wasn't. But.
Well, no, like we learned with, what's the brother? It's Porter's brother, Jonte Porter.
You
got to start small.
And then you have a network.
You got to start small.
Correct. And then you have a network. Or your brother
those
or
don't
your
get like
uncle.
dinged, right?
So
you have a $20 bet here and there.
So Texas Tech realized, oh boy, wow.
Oh, people
we
don't
are
think
the
that's a
only
good idea.
people in the world that thought this was a good idea. Sorsby is now entering the NFL supplemental draft.
Sure.
Which Jason La Canfora, who we had on the show like 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
He believes, and he has said it now multiple times, he believes the Philadelphia Eagles would be willing to use up to a second-round pick to get him.
I will also say, respectfully to Jason La Canfora, he threw out a speculation of Jalen Hurts to Baltimore and the Eagles get Lamar Jackson, and people are running with it as if, like,
Stop.
I don't think that's happening.
I don't believe that's happening either.
Gross.
But I do believe the Sorsby notice would be something that I could see Howie doing.
I don't.
No.
They don't have.
They have the gold standard.
They don't have an heir apparent.
An heir apparent. You can't have an heir apparent that has that kind of stink on him. It's not just the stink of like, hey,
Michael Vick.
This is nothing like that. This is a guy that was affecting the outcome of his own games. Morality police aside.
No, I got you.
This is an actual. There is a gentleman that is the all-time hits leader that is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame for doing the exact same thing. It is the absolute one thing you cannot do in sports.
You and I agree on that as far as I'm in that boat with you. So I am not disagreeing with your point of view. But what I'm saying is no greater player in the modern era had more stank on them than Vic.
Right.
And Howie Roseman said, we don't care.
Jeffrey
I think,
Lurie
I
said
think
we
it was
don't care.
Andy Reid said.
And Andy Reid said.
Tony
yes,
Dungy, I got you.
we can bring him in. Yep.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
I think it's either going to be a team that's desperate, that freaking needs a quarterback, or it's a team that's like so comfortable, like a Chiefs, that's let's.
Yeah. Andy's done it. He loves a retribution story.
You know, let me see if I can help the kid. I don't see the Eagles as they don't have an heir apparent. Let's
go find this guy they bet on his team.
Yeah. Is Johnny Manziel not available? All right, coming up next. We preview today's Phillies game.
Good old Johnny football.
Also, there's some big news from a team in the NL East that the Phillies are chasing. You know who that is. When it comes to the injury front again. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The world's biggest soccer tournament has arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every single match from the opening stage all the way to the final. Now, I got a question for you out there. Do you believe? Do you believe that we will win? USA is currently trading at 3% to win it all, meaning that a $100 trade is going to pay out $2,602 if they win soccer's biggest prize. Maybe you saw that win over Paraguay and you thought, let me get in on this early. Maybe Team USA has a little bit of something. Maybe you want something that's a little bit more of a sure percentage. Well, Brazil is trading at 89% probability to beat Haiti in Philly's second game coming up this Friday. So on that one, a $100 trade would only pay out $111. But there's a lot of things that you can trade on Kalshi. And the best part is on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app, but make sure you use code Fanatic because you're going to get $10 when you trade 10. That's Kalshi, Kalshi. Trade the beautiful game. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory.
Hall of Fame sports writer.
Is the plan to keep Joel, and can you say with 100% certainty that Joel Embiid is back for 2026?
Yeah, Joel's ours right now. I've had great conversations with him. We FaceTimed. I'm actually going to see him in a couple days to kind of sit down in person with him. But, you know, we just got to get Joel on the court. You know, obviously when he plays, we're really good. He's still a dominant force. I mean, he can get 25 in his sleep. And I know he's self-motivated. You know, obviously he doesn't like the questions about him not being available, but he wants to play. He wants to be on the court. And, you know, that's on me. That's on our whole staff and Nick and the whole building to get him to his best self.
There is no reason to panic about the Jalen Carter contract situation. And lo and behold, John Kincade this morning did exactly what I thought he would.
Price is wrong.
Went on this morning, Bill's 100% wrong. We need to be concerned. If they don't get a contract in place in 6 weeks, literally, he said 6 weeks 4 times. In 6 weeks by training camp, Jalen Carter might hold in. He might show up and not participate. He might this, he might that, he might this. Guess what? I could die walking out of here.
I got a question.
That could happen too in the next 6 weeks. But I don't want people to panic, Ricky Bo. There is still 6 weeks to go. Yes, they are in negotiations with Jalen Carter. I was told by the Philadelphia Eagles they fully expect to get the contract done. And under the current NFLPA agreement, you can't hold out. We saw what happened to Hassan Reddick. You could go back to what happened with Le'Veon Bell. Jalen Carter's under contract for 2 more years. He's got this year. He's got next year under the 5th-year option. Yes, would you like them to get this deal done sooner rather than later? Of course you would. But on June 10th and now June 11th, to be trying to get all-out panic about this situation is absurd.
App.
All right, Middays with Marks comes your way in about 10 minutes. Johnny Marks, Sean Brace, Ray Dog.
You Club Hertz member yet?
What are the qualifications?
I'm in.
What are the qualifications?
Well, you have to
Undying support?
You have to enter in to Club Hertz.
Because I'm a fan of his.
No, your track record would say you should be Club Hertz.
Okay.
I think Amy's dialogue on this show would be that she's a Club Hertz member, and I'm sure Sean Brace and Brendan Pertilli can get you in.
How about this?
In or you're out.
Connor, is he an answer? Is he a bouncer?
I don't know that you'd be bouncing.
Now, look, you could
maybe like a promoter.
You could
be
do
a
one
promoter.
time. One time I checked IDs at a bar.
Okay, I could do the IDs.
You could sit on a stool and check people's IDs at a bar.
I could take the red velvet rope off and then put it back on.
You could do that.
So I'm there.
You'd be great.
I'm just
You're the
on the
doorman.
outside.
By the way, you'd be great at that.
Thanks.
I've had experience
Bouncer?
bouncing. I could take care of it.
You got your ass kicked, I'm sure.
When I bartended, I had to kick a couple people out of a bar.
Well, that's
before.
Yeah, and they were both
Really? Were they
drunk.
small?
They were
Were they
passed
small
out.
dudes? I mean, like what?
Absolutely
You
not.
overserved them.
Yeah, you drew Sharpie on their foreheads probably and kicked them out.
Slap the
By
size
the
of
way,
What if a
dog
guy
in a
was like
fight.
6'3" had to be kicked out?
we have to get Connor's take because he gave it to us on John's voicemail.
oh yes, this is John.
It's not it
Dude,
at all. Right, Connor, right?
Where'd you
My
fall?
question to Andrew was, what does your voicemail
Yeah.
sound like if you think that's not
It's
a
the
normal
AI
voicemail?
phone number.
Yeah,
you
because
have reached.
That's the most normal voicemail.
It's normal.
That's right
I got yelled
down
at.
the middle.
I swear John's screaming at me.
No.
I think you got your volume. Do you know how to control the volume on your phone?
No.
Like, I don't understand what you're like.
No, I
as,
don't. Hi, this is John. It's so aggressive.
I just
It's
want to call it
not.
all the time now.
nobody, because I said.
Dude, all
it
right. You have to let me do one thing.
What's that?
When you leave, we will record your.
Yes.
No, the thing is, you can do it if you want to. I just wanted to make sure that it didn't have anything because I don't even know what's on it. You can play it if you want to.
No, but anytime John
no.
tweets, you have a drop that's just, this is John.
Yes.
You can play
Yes.
it. I mean,
you need to record that here. You need to record how Andrew thinks your voicemail
Andrew, you
sounds.
can play it. Like I don't have any problem.
But that's
I
what
just
we
didn't
need
know-
that.
I
All right,
honestly
can
didn't
you
know.
dial it?
You're allowed to play it.
Can you dial it live on the air?
You're allowed
While
to
you
play it.
dial it, do you know how to do it through the board?
Yeah, I can figure
I
it
was
out.
gonna say you can just
Okay.
like hold it.
You're allowed to play it.
All right, while you
Put it on
figure that
speakerphone,
out,
but work just as well.
I was curious. I went to the handy dandy Chat GPT, which is 100% accurate all the time.
Oh, it is. Yes.
Who has been the best pitcher in Major League Baseball since 2020? I typed in. Zach Wheeler is the answer.
Is it actually
best
correct
pitcher.
or
Since the start of 2020,
what are the metrics that Chat GPT?
Wheeler has been among the leaders and often the outright
Not
leader
doubting it.
among MLB pitchers in cumulative WAR, while also ranking near the top in innings pitch, strikeouts, and run prevention. Multiple WAR leaderboards place him ahead of other elite starters over that span. Now, again, specifically since 2020,
Okay,
not
sure,
since
sure.
last year. Other contenders. Here's the ranking. How about this? ChatGPT goes power rankings.
Oh.
5 Scooble, 4 Freed, 3 Corbin Burns, 2 Garrett Cole whenever he's healthy, and 1 Zach Wheeler.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I think Burns. It didn't have Garrett Cole.
Cole too.
Oh,
Cole, too.
Okay, sorry.
Whenever
Missed that one.
he's healthy, because
Yeah,
it's a shame because that dude's a freaking stud. Honorable mention Sandy Alcantara, who we will see tomorrow.
Honorable mention Shohei.
By the way,
Ohtani.
is he going to be the
Well,
is he for the
he had
third
the arm
consecutive
injuries.
year going to be
Yeah.
the most talked about name at the trade deadline?
Who's Sandy
Sandy
Alcantara?
And he never gets traded.
Probably.
Every year they say he's getting traded.
Well, no. Mike Trout's the name that's
Well,
mentioned.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
that's
Every
just here.
year.
Do you know he's from Jersey?
Yeah, I do. I pitched against them once.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, do we have it, Connor? All right, this is John Kincaid's voicemail.
I don't even know what it is. I'm serious.
Get excited then.
This is good.
I don't know if he's
going to get it.
You got it? You got it? All right. I've never dialed out on our new phone system.
I was like, can't we just call it?
The old board used to type
Just
things
send us to
up.
voicemail,
It's
John.
a harder thing.
Yeah,
good.
everything's gotten more difficult.
Just send us to voicemail.
You would think that increased technology would make things easier, but it's actually made things harder.
All right, here we go. Do you want me to just send it to voicemail?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be ideal.
Okay. How do I
Press
just
the
send
red
it?
button.
Oh,
It
there
doesn't
is
give
no
me
red
that.
button.
There is no red
He
button.
doesn't have the option.
I don't have it. See, I don't have an option like that.
Maybe double click the side. See, I know.
I tried that.
Yeah, hey, you know a little something.
How about that?
We'll get there in a second.
That's how I block your.
It's just going.
Yeah.
John, what
let
are you
it
busy
ring.
or something?
You don't have the
I'm sorry,
decline
this is
button.
John, I'm not going to take your call right now.
aggressive.
Please leave me a message. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Text is always the best way to reach me.
I think that's aggressive.
Hey, this is
Hi,
John.
Hi, John. It's
Hey,
Andrew.
John. How are you? It's a totally
Hi,
normal
it's
voice.
John.
The bar for aggressive
That is
is
just
on the floor,
it's just a
brother.
normal.
Hi, this is John.
By the way, I don't even know where.
But
that
honestly,
is recorded.
I do need you to record something that sounds like what
sounds
Andrew
like what
said.
Andrew thinks. Yes.
All right.
That's what I want.
You know what it is? In my old age, you know how you always
Well,
make the
pop up.
story sound
Yes.
different? I think that's what's
The
happening.
man. No, I think it's your.
Already got an I'm with Tunis on YouTube chat.
No, that was
That is
not
not
an aggressive
aggressive at all.
line.
Aggressive voicemail. All right.
Hi, this is John.
I have to aggressively end the show because
Yes,
we're up
that's
against
it.
it.
Sorry.
Amy, you're the best.
Thanks,
Everybody
you
have a
guys on
great
Friday.
day. See you tomorrow.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Hi, this is Connor with your sports update, and we've got some news on Jay.